In the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. We're happy you're spending some time with us, Chip and Zay. Come on now. We're hanging out with you for 3 more days. Here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Hope everyone's having a great day. Zay, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Feeling good, feeling great. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Chip, how are you?
Hey, man. Happy to be on the right side of the grass. Went in for physical today, and when you go get a physical at my age, they tell you things like, it's time for your next colonoscopy.
Yeah.
But hey, that's what we do. We go in, we get checked. If there's something off, go get it checked. If your heart flutters, if there's something happening that you don't normally recognize, go get it checked. My man Sean Adams would want me to say that because Sean had his heart checked out, and one doctor said, yeah, you might need to get this checked out further, and next thing you know, Sean's dead of a heart attack. So we just gotta take care of ourselves, take care of each other, but take care of ourselves. Go get checked. Go do your physical. Do eat as well as you can. There's my PSA for today.
No, that's real. Those facts right there, man. Like Mark says, dropping that knowledge. It might be tough to hear, but people need to hear what you just said, man. And yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate everybody who's been a part of Chip and Zay, that's for sure. And we'll talk to our man Hummer today, 3:00. And and appreciate everybody, Joe and Mark, of course, and CB, the world's greatest volunteer radio producer in the history of radio. I always appreciate CB. But hey, you know what? This Bill Belichick not getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and we'll talk to our man John McClain on Friday, who is a Pro Football Hall of Fame voter.
Ooh, what's it, John?
Well, no. So there's Belichick goes in the coaching category, but they don't have enough people in that category. Like they don't have, it's stupid and limited. And I think the problem is with the format and the way that the rules are constituted. It's not like they could have voted in Belichick. Basically, it sounds like it came down to Belichick or Kraft, and Kraft and Belichick weren't going in the same class. And so Kraft.
Robert. Why are they up at the same time?
I don't know. We'll talk to John and we'll get it. But this sounds like some TMZ pettiness if I've ever seen it. Because I could just see Robert Kraft like, wait, what? Belichick and me are up? Oh, hell no. We're not going in the same class together. I don't want to go to all these dinners and.
Oh, come on, Bob. Bob ain't doing that.
Yeah, but you love the pettiness.
I do love it, but I also, these guys, they got a lot of fond memories with one another. Those days are gone.
See, Kraft, that's what you say when you find out Bill's not going in. Oh, man, he should have been in. How's he not in?
How's he not in?
Bill should have been in.
Nah, it's because of stuff like this. That's why. That's why. They salty that Bill got a baddie. They salty that Bill's out here making moves, doing
Okay,
things.
can leave that picture up for a second.
Yeah, it needs to be left up because this is the picture of the year.
The fact that she orchestrated that whole picture is scary.
What's scary about this? This looks like two individuals who are madly in love having a good time.
Really?
Yes. Why does she have to be 72 also?
No, but does Bill look like he's having a good time?
I mean, he never looks like he's having a good time.
So the picture, if you're listening to us on the app, the picture is the picture of Bill Belichick as the old man in the sea hooking a mermaid. It's Jordan Hudson in a bikini top made of clamshells and pearls with a mermaid tail on the beach. He's got a fishing pole. He's reeled her in. And he's got a pipe in his mouth. And it's like this. There's no way on God's green earth that Bill Belichick was like, you know what we should do, hon? We should do a photo of me reeling you in as a mermaid.
I agree. She definitely instigated this, but come on.
Now, do you think she cares about his MO? Like that he's trying to be a coach in a violent sport where he's always ruled by an iron fist? Or do you think she just wanted to have a fun day at the beach with some picture taken? Like, did she have any sense of what this picture was going to do to my man's reputation?
All it did was help his reputation, in my opinion.
Really?
That's all it did. Yes, this makes him more normal. That's been the issue with him. He's been a robot for however many years that we've seen him in the limelight as a coach. Hell, we were talking about Brendan Schooler yesterday. Brendan Schooler, I think he got like a muff punt that he recovered during the Belichick years, and then he tried to hand Bill the ball because, hey, we just got a turnover. You make this a point of emphasis in your meetings that this is our ball. So here's Brendan Schooler trying to give him a ball. And what did Belichick do? He like pushed him away and then had like another assistant like get in between them like, okay, leave Bill alone. Like he's always been a robot. This makes him normal. This makes him relatable.
But can't you get normal just with like a picture of him sitting next to her at some sidewalk cafe?
Yes.
With a smile on his face?
Yeah, but who are we to say what's normal in somebody else's relationship? If they're happy, they're happy.
So that picture is real love.
That is real love right there. Mary J. Blige, real
That's
love.
not, I want to keep getting laid by this 24-year-old, so I'm going to do this picture.
Why you gotta bring sex into it? Like that's all it's about.
Like
I'm getting laid. What's the matter with you?
For him?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sure
he's 72. He's banging a 24-year-old. He wants to keep banging a 24-year-old.
You're wilding. You're wilding, man. I think you're
really
away from the point here. That's a part of it. I'm sure the physical attraction is a huge part on both sides. You know, I'm sure she's seen Bill, and there might be something that Bill has got going for him that we just can't see that she does. And good for her for seeing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's more than just bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's everything. You know what I'm saying? Because we saw what it was this year at Chapel Hill. So all you got is the love with your relationship, with how bad them Tar Heels were. That's all you got. You got to come home to something positive because on the field, it ain't it. So he was coming home to this. That's good living, if you ask me. And all those haters that wanted Bill out, screw Robert Kraft. He can wait. He's an owner. Put Bill in. First ballot. My man Jimmy Johnson's gone crazy talking about this. Like, yeah, and we know how you feel about Belichick. We know how you feel about him. You put Brady. Brady all the credit.
Brady gets all the credit.
The credit.
But Bill deserves credit for the way he constructed his roster. He gave Brady no weapons. Every time he gave him a weapon, he took him away. I mean, he had Brady out there with Troy Brown, who was a defensive back playing at receiver. He had him out there with Rashay Caldwell. Had him out there with that dude Henry, or whoever that white guy receiver was. I mean, now granted,
like Caucasian receivers, yes.
Well, and good God, Julian Edelman, he was a special teams guy who someone said, hey, you should try receiver. And then the guy went out, trained like Rocky Balboa to become a receiver and became one and became a total go-to guy. Those are great stories. But Belichick liked coaching his kind of guys. Yeah, Aaron Hernandez. That is,
he was cold in the mother.
Oh yeah,
he was cold, Joe. You can't say he wasn't cold.
If you're looking for stone cold killers, that guy was a stone cold killer, assassin. If you're looking for assassins, there's an assassin,
a sniper.
That dude would roll up, do a drive-by, put bullets in people.
Yep. They catch 3 passes for 87 yards the next day. Smooth.
Oh yeah. No conscience.
No conscience.
Killer.
Man.
Assassin. But yeah, man. No, Belichick should get in. He should absolutely get in.
First ballot, though.
Yes.
Always.
First ballot. So I can't wait to hear the pettiness and whatever's going on here.
Yeah, it's petty, man. We're hating. This is some serious hating. I don't know who it was. Jimmy Johnson, he was on a tear. He was on McAfee talking about I've talked to 3 dudes and they all lying. They all bullshitting. What y'all talking about? This is Bill Belichick, man. He is the GOAT for a lot of people. Now, Deflategate, Spygate, not good. It's not good.
Not good.
But, there's been a lot more cheaters other than Bill.
Yeah, there's been a lot more cheaters other than Bill.
A lot more cheaters that have made it. A lot worse people. So, yeah, put Bill in, man. Y'all are bugging. I'm very disgusted at the Hall of Fame for not allowing this.
Yeah.
Because those dudes that were hating, I think we need to take away their credentials, if you ask me. I'm on that tip.
Damn.
Yeah, what?
What you mean?
Either come forward and own up, quit hiding, because they be hiding, man. I don't know why. They be hiding. Come forward. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Bill Belichick is a punk, and I don't want him in. Say that. I'll respect that more. But to be hiding and watching all this happen and stuff, and I just come out and say you're a hater. Just come out and say I'm a straight up hater. I hate that he has a 25-year-old girlfriend that's a cheerleader that runs the show and makes life easier for him. I hate that. Say it. I'll respect that more. But nah, this is weak. And Bill don't deserve this. They trying to put it on Bill Poland, who what Bill Poland mean to? He's a former GM or something like that.
Oh yeah, Bill Polian.
Yeah, Bill Polian. Yeah, excuse me. I don't understand where he comes in and all this, because everybody's trying to throw Polian under the bus. I
mean, they're blaming the scandals. They're blaming the scandals. Belichick was fined $500,000, largest fine ever levied against an NFL coach for his involvement in Spygate. Patriots lost a first-round pick in the 2008 NFL draft because of Spygate. Then in 2015, Patriots were fined $1 million for Deflategate. Now, that was dumb. That whole thing was dumb. But Bill Polian, former Bills and Colts GM and rival of Belichick.
Bills, huh?
He reportedly told voters Belichick should wait a year because of the Spygate. And, you know, who was it? Polian said he could not remember with 100% certainty if he voted for Belichick, saying he was 95.
Take the credentials. Take it. Take it. You need to snatch it off the way T.I. did Nunu back at ATL. Give me that chain back. Give me that back, that credential. You don't remember? I know he's old, but he knows I don't remember. That's baloney, man. That's so weak. That is so weak. And again, Bills, that tells me everything I need to know. Former Bills GM. So he was whooping that ass all the time. You were salty about it. He paid his dues. He paid his money. Spygate, here's that $500K. Deflategate, here's that mill. Just like that. Just keep it moving. What about them other years, though? What about them other years? And yeah, that means if Bill's not in first ballot, that means you got to throw Tom out too. And are we doing that? Are we going to not allow Tom Brady when he's up for it 3 years from now? What?
Oh, no, he's getting in because he went and won a Super Bowl with the Bucks.
But he was still a part of Spygate, Deflategate. He still benefited from all that too.
Yeah, but he showed he could do it outside of that. Belichick, he was stuck with that. You know, Patriots are always up to something. If Belichick's there, he didn't learn his lesson. He didn't learn his lesson from Spygate. He went ahead with Deflategate. Deflategate was stupid, though. Let's be honest. The ball was not inflated to the proper inflation. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Stealing signals? Spying on people? That's one thing. Like letting a little air out of the ball because the quarterback liked a little softer ball.
Hey, it's not my fault that y'all aren't hiding when y'all are running y'all's plays. Y'all should have been in a place where it was a little more safe. Y'all should have been on the lookout.
Been practicing in the dark.
Y'all should have been practicing in the dark. Hey, I'm a fan. I just so happen to have a camera. I just want to see what's going on. I just want to compare notes. You know, see what's going on. Didn't fools used to hang outside of 35 and watch Texas practice back in the day? Once upon a time?
Barry Switzer had a spy like in Royal Memorial Stadium watching football. Watching Texas practice.
Yeah, and is Barry not in the College Hall of Fame? I feel like he is.
Oh, yeah, he's in.
I mean, we ain't knocked Barry with his dirty ass.
He got in.
That Pete
Belichick's going to get in.
Yeah, but
they got to kick him while he's down. You know what I'm saying? They got to kick him.
All right.
But they went ahead and got some steel-toed boots, too.
I'm telling you, it's Jordan Hudson. They don't like that. They don't like how in charge she is. They don't like her running things. They don't like that. They don't like that, man. He got a fine baddie right beside him. They don't like that. They want him to have an old wrinkly one just like them and be miserable and not be able to get it up. They want that. Bill's out here living fast, still doing what he loves.
You could say Aaron Hernandez had a killer instinct, Jose says.
Okay, man. I still haven't watched that biopic. That's one, again, I have a lot of time on my hands coming up, so I'm going to get to a lot of things that I put on the back burner. That one, I still need to check it out because I still don't know how it went down.
The Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah, the biopic that Hulu FX tried to do. You know how I feel about lookalikes. They put Brady, the Belichick lookalike, not the best. The Rob Gronkowski lookalike, not great. I think the Urban Meyer lookalikes, not great either. But they got Aaron Hernandez right. I'll give them that.
I was going to say, is there any documentary or whatever loosely based on reality where they're trying to put in actors for real people that you've enjoyed?
Straight Outta Compton might be the best one. It's tough to do a sports one because those guys are so big and tall. It's tougher to do a sports one. So I try to give them grace. That's why I can't do Air. Air's tough because that's, even though it's about sports, those guys, come on, man. Matt Damon, no, absolutely not. Ben Affleck, no, absolutely not. Straight Outta Compton, where they had Ice Cube's son playing Ice Cube, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You can work hard. You can get something. You can work hard, and you just got to work a little harder, y'all. Find someone that can actually act that looks like the person. You can't take the easy way out. You remember when they had Cuba Gooding Jr. playing OJ? That was horrible. That was horrible. CB remembers that. That was horrible. Terrible. Like Cuba Gooding, Ricky, he can't be OJ.
He's radio.
That's what I'm saying. You can't be radio. Show me the money. That dude can't be OJ. I'm sorry. There's Rodney, a lot more guys that could do it.
Radio was not believable as Arenthal James Simpson.
Yeah, man. As bad as OJ was, he deserved more than that. He deserved better than that.
Hey, Cowboys fans, I don't mean to depress you, but CB says 30 years ago today, the Cowboys won Super Bowl 30, their last Super Bowl win 30 years ago.
Shit.
30.
Yeah.
But you know what?
A long while ago.
It's been since the 50s.
Oh, here we go.
Since the Lions won anything. So, hey, there's that. Cowboys fans, you still have scoreboard on some other franchise. But since the owner of the Cowboys is still the owner 30 years later, this hurts. This hurts. That's all. So, my man Babe Laufenberg, who played football at Indiana, played quarterback in the NFL, was the backup quarterback to Troy Aikman during the first Super Bowl. He posted on his Facebook. I thought this was interesting. Okay. So Babe posted on his Facebook. He said, I told Luke and Joe Willie, his sons, when I bought them these hats, I'm being honest with you boys, my Indiana Hoosiers will win a natty before your Cowboys get to a Super Bowl.
Jeez.
So let's get behind them. End quote. I have yet to lie to my boys.
All right, man.
And it's a picture of his sons when they were little dudes with Indiana caps on.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm sure they got from the basketball arena if they got them in Indiana, because when that picture came out, Indiana football was in a dark place.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But that should give you hope if you're a Cowboys fan. If Indiana football can do a little something, then Cowboys, they can do a little something too.
Maybe. That window opened and closed.
It can open back up a little bit more.
Speaking of windows, so when we went off the air yesterday, Texas had picked up a commitment from Lawrence Seymour, the left guard from Western Kentucky. And it turns out there's more to the story.
Yeah, break that down, because I saw there's might be an eligibility issue. I was very confused on what I was.
Lawrence Seymour, his football journey started in 2021. He redshirted. He played in 2022. He did not play in 2023. Then he played in 24 and 25. So Texas is seeking a waiver for Seymour to get another year. Now, you got to figure that Texas feels good about this, or they wouldn't be going down this road. But it is not approved yet. They have to get approval for this waiver. And then you can get all excited about Lawrence Seymour. I think Lawrence Seymour is a good addition. I mean, good God, this is going to be his 6th year of football. So you love having those older guys. He's got lots of experience. He started at Miami, went to Akron, went to Western Kentucky, was all conference at Western Kentucky. You know, he's a vet. He's a little undersized, probably why he didn't, get all the recruiting love or whatever. But 6'2", 320, you'll take it. Guy's got experience. If you can get Seymour eligible, now you got a veteran offensive line. You got Trevor Gooseby in year 4. You got Seymour in year 6. You got Connor Robertson in year 5. You got Brandon Baker in year 3 and Melvin Siani in year 5. That's what you need up front. You don't, no first-time starters. You got a bunch of guys with starting experience. That's what you need to help protect Arch Manning long enough for him to find Cam Coleman. So, I mean, talk about a backdoor cover. If Texas can, get Seymour eligible, my God.
So tell me the years he played again. So he played 2022, sat out 2023, or did he play 21 and 22, sat out 23, played 24, 25?
He sat out 23.
Was 22 his first year?
No. So 21, he was at Miami. He played, redshirted. He only played in, a few games, played 24 snaps. And then in 2022, he played, let me get it exactly for you. In 2022, he played in 6 games. He started 4 of them for the Hurricanes. And then in 2023, he did not play. In 2024, he played for Akron. Played in 2, 4, 6, 8 games, started 4 of them. And then transferred to Western Kentucky, where he started every game at left guard and had a good season. So he redshirted in 21. He did not play.
He redshirt twice. That's where, was he hurt?
That's the thing. That's where, was it if it's medical, he should get it. He should get it. So, but yeah, this is, it should be fine. It should be great. But my God, if something happens and he doesn't get this waiver, I love it. CB says that this gives me Desmond Harrison vibes. And Desmond Harrison was this really talented offensive lineman who came to Texas out of JUCO. He never really played for Texas. He ended up playing elsewhere, but Texas never really he was like a myth. Desmond Harrison is like a myth because he was going to be this great athletic, stud. He ended up playing one season with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, he went to Contra Costa College and then West Georgia. And then, he was with Texas for one season and never saw the field or was on the field for like one game. And after he left Texas, he was like out of football for 2 years. Then he goes to West Georgia. It was like this crazy odyssey, but out of West Georgia, he ended up with the Browns for a year. Look, if Lawrence Seymour can come in and give you better left guard play than you got in 2025, hallelujah. Hallelujah. We'll talk to Chris Hummer coming up here at 3:00. He broke the story. He may have some more intel on Lawrence Seymour. My man Eric Henry's looking into it for Hornets 24/7. So, but hey, doesn't matter how you got him, as long as you got him.
Yeah.
So let's see if old Lawrence he won't be in school until the summer.
Damn, what? How's that work? Hold on. So he can't even do winter workouts or anything. If he's not in school, he can't do winter workouts, correct?
Right. That's
no
right.
Spring ball, none of that.
Right.
Damn, man. So we just throwing homie to the fire and Steve Sarkisian's big ass playbook. And we just expecting him to be ready for Texas State. Who cares? Ohio State week 2.
Hey, this is 6 year of college football. He'll be ready.
Okay.
And he's incentivized because he knows if he has a good year this year, he's going to get some NFL attention.
That sounds lovely.
He's protecting for Arch Manning.
That sounds lovely. Yes, there will be a lot of eyes on Texas football like there always is. But with what Kyle Flood showed me this past year, I don't have as much faith as I did a year ago at this.
I know. Kyle Flood is on the Restore Zay's Faith tour.
Yeah, because Kyle Flood, he needs this dude day one.
Oh, yeah.
Seymour might be fine, but you still got to get him acclimated on to the scheme and stuff. So Kyle Flood, with what we've seen lately, he needs all the time in the world with everybody. So it doesn't make me feel comfortable knowing that homeboy is going to get here when it's 102 outside.
Yeah, he's finishing up his degree at WKU.
Good for him.
And that's essential because he can get into Texas as a grad transfer. No problema. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's very easy to say, well, Kelvin Banks wasn't in there until his summer year. An anomaly, that Kelvin Banks. I stop comparing. I'm seeing it everywhere like, oh, Kelvin Banks. Kyle Flood did this with Kelvin Banks. Kelvin Banks would have been good if my grandma was coaching the offensive line. R.I.P. Mabel. I love you. I miss you. He would have been great if Grandma Mabel was running the show. He still would have been great. So, he did his thing there, but how much credit we really giving him? I give him more credit for Christian Jones. That's Kyle Flood's biggest moment. Christian Jones, seeing him on the left side suck, look like a freaking D2 player, even a scholarship player at all, and then move him to the right, and you got the dude drafted. That is easily Kyle Flood's best work. No doubt about it. But it's been a long time since Christian Jones was in school. So, yeah, Kyle. I mean, I don't want to be hating on you like this, but he's giving me no choice. He's giving me no choice. I will double down. This past season was a waste. It was. I know some of y'all have a problem with me saying that. I don't care. It was. It was. This team, talent-wise, was a lot better than what we saw on the field. And they still won 10 games, which is incredible. So if you just look down the line, because guys got fired. If it wasn't a waste, guys wouldn't have got fired the way they did. Pete Kwiatkowski, Dwayne Aquina. So yeah, man, I'm on one a little bit. I'm on one a little bit with that offensive line. And I still think they could do some really special things. That's why you go get Brown. That's why you go get Smothers, to give them a little bit more explosiveness when things might go a little haywire. Somebody in the backfield quick. At least you got some backs that could, excuse me. Like, they got those type of guys. I love what my man Trevian Wiseman brought to the table, but he wasn't necessarily a excuse me guy. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Do you still feel like even with Seymour coming in, it's still incomplete? Or are you still waiting on to make sure he's on campus?
Yeah, I'm just waiting to make sure he's on campus.
That ain't good.
I mean, he should be. Texas doesn't allow all this to get, whipped into a lather unless they feel absolutely certain that A, he's going to finish up, get his degree, get the waiver, and come on in.
Can we get the waiver for somebody that went to Texas, like Alabama and Ole Miss be doing, with Trinidad Chambliss and the African brother on the basketball team, man?
Yeah, some local judge.
Local judge.
Hey, can you get me an injunction?
4th-generation Texas Longhorn?
Injunction. What's your function?
That's had season tickets for 20 years. Yeah, let me get something like that, because that's how everybody's been bending the rules. Just get the homie. Get kinfolk, basically.
Yeah.
Which I respect. I respect if they're going to allow it. Everybody's getting after Nate Oates, calling him a cheater, hating on Nate Oates and stuff. No, Nate Oates wants to win. And if the rules are going to allow him to do that and bring in this African brother that's been playing the G League the whole time, I can't knock it. I wish Sean Miller did that. I would love for Sean Miller to bring somebody back or bring somebody in late that's been playing G League ball and in shape, that's 7 foot, that could block some shots. Are you kidding me? That will change everything about Texas basketball this season. That's what they need. Vecina, he plays hard, but I'd rather have African brother at Alabama.
So Bediako is the guy you're talking about, Charles Bediako. He played, he went pro, went to the G League, realized I can make more money back at Alabama because I'm not playing in the pros. I'm not doing anything. So he goes back to Alabama. In his first game against Tennessee, he played 25 minutes, scored 13 points on 5 of 6 shooting, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. You should get them rebounds up, but I'll take it.
Yeah, get them rebounds up.
They lost. They lost too.
They lost 79-73.
Yeah.
But that might be more because Phylon was 7 of 20.
Yeah, he's a little inconsistent sometimes.
And the rest of the team wasn't shooting so great. Meanwhile, Tennessee shot 47%. And somebody forgot to guard Nate Ament and Jacoby Gillespie, who went for 29 and 24 for Tennessee. Man. But hey. Okay, so speaking of basketball, Texas basketball, They're playing Auburn tonight. Texas's next 6 games, they have to win at least 4. And here's the breakdown. They're playing Auburn tonight. Auburn's figured some stuff out. They've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. Then they go to OU. OU is terrible. OU is
tough one last night for OU.
Oh God. They are inventing new ways to lose games.
Tough one.
But OU is 1-7. Like, Texas has 2 games left against OU. Texas has to win both. Okay. Then Texas plays South Carolina. South Carolina's terrible. South Carolina is, where are they? South Carolina is 11-9, 2-5 in the league. You're playing them in Austin. You got to win that game. Then Texas plays Ole Miss. Chris Beard. Ole Miss is not doing nothing. They're 11-9, 3-4. You're playing them at home. You got to win that game.
Yeah. And
then you're playing at Mizzou. Mizzou is 14-7, 4-4 in the league. That'll be a challenging game, but winnable. But it's on the road. That's tough. And then you come home and you play LSU. LSU is 13-7, 1-6 in SEC play. You got to win that game. So Zay, because after that, you're playing teams that can beat you. After that, you're playing. Well, I'll tell you who you're playing. Your last 4. Okay, you play at Georgia. You play Florida in Austin. Then you play at A&M. You play at Arkansas, and then you play OU at home. So you could lose 4 in a row. That wouldn't be good. But you have got to get right in these next 6 games to have a chance. So,
yeah. And I think they can win all of them. I know that's saying a lot, but if they're playing at their best, which that's the issue, trying to stay consistent. If they could stay consistent and play like they did against Georgia and Alabama, they should be able to beat anybody in this conference. This is a weak conference. I said it earlier this week. I say it today. And tonight you have a grand opportunity to go make some noise and really shake up the conference and shake up the committee when it comes down to March and they're having to choose which teams are going to be dancing and which teams are going to be sitting by the punch bowl. And Auburn, like you said, Chip, Stephen Pearl, he's figuring some things out. Like, again, Bruce Pearl abruptly just said, I'm done. I'm not coaching anymore. Like right before the season started, which is crazy to do.
He did it so his son would get the job.
I know that, but also if I am transferring and the whole time I'm thinking Bruce Pearl, which say what you want about him, he's one of the best coaches out there. I'm expecting him. They went to the Final Four last year. I expect him to be the coach. Oh, wait, you're not doing that? Cool. It's your son. All right, I guess I got to buy in. So there's that. He has to figure out to still keep that momentum going that his dad helped build, but also doing things his way, which for Stephen Pearl, I'm sure that's been a little difficult to do. I'll give him grace for that. So you look at the games that they've lost. They've lost 7 games this year. Every game that they've lost is against teams I could see making it to the Elite 8 or making it to the Sweet 16. They lost to Houston. They lost to Michigan. They lost to Arizona. They lost to Purdue. They lost to Georgia. They lost to A&M. They lost to Missouri. Maybe Missouri is the only team that I have a hard time saying they could go to the Elite Eight. But Missouri could definitely make a Sweet 16 run. Why not? So all the games that they've lost have been against solid competition. And they've been trying to figure the whole bunch of stuff out. At one point, they were bringing Tahad Pettiford off the bench. That's stupid. He's like one of your best players. Like, don't bring him off the bench. Start him. He's been starting them. They've been winning. Their three best players are all lefties, which makes them extremely hard to guard. Kashawn Hall, who is incredible, first-team All-SEC, might be the SEC Player of the Year, averaging 20 a game. I'll get to him in a second. Tahad Pettiford, who I just mentioned, and Kevin Overton. All those guys are lefties. So when you guard a lefty, it's just different because majority of the time you're guarding right-handed players. So a lot of time you think, okay, this guy can't go left. So now you have to change the way that you approach the game defensively and kind of have to shift your mind into thinking, okay, now I got to force guys right, which is different, something that you're not used to, especially when there's three players, three guards on the court, all trying to get to their left hand. And Tahad Pettiford, he's kind of ambidextrous. He will go dunk on you with your right hand. He'll go shoot floaters with the right. So he's a really tough guard. And the beginning of the year, which I get Stephen Pearl getting mixed up with this, with all the guys that they had leave on that Final Four team, Pettiford coming back, you expected him to be your best player. So they were running everything through him. And then they were realizing maybe he's not that. And they were still bringing him off the bench. It didn't make any sense. But Kashawn Hall, that dude, man, he is a ridiculously tough guard. I think he's going to be hard for Kendall Weaver to check tonight because he'll just shoot over the top of Kendall Weaver. He'll post you up. He'll shoot that one-legged dirt-type fadeaway. He gets into the lane with ease, has a really good handle. He's shooting 41% from three, so you got to respect him from beyond the arc. And they're not really running crazy stuff. They're just kind of getting to the point. They put the ball in his hands or Pettiford's hands at the top of the key, and then they'll go pick and roll game with him. They do that a lot. And if you won't stop it the first time, they'll keep running it. It's more of an NBA approach than it is a college approach, which I can respect. It took him a while for Stephen Pearl to figure it out, but he's figured it out. Let me just simplify the game for these guys, put it in their hands, and just allow them to make plays instead of trying to make the offense complex where there's a ton of movement and stuff. Like, yeah, you want that, but at the end of the day, if you just got guys that can go get it, then put the ball in their hands and let them go get it. And that's what Pearl has done, and they've benefited from that. That's why they've won 3 straight games. And one thing about Hall, too, I remember him in high school because he would get a lot of highlight mixtapes put on him because he was a husky player. Like, he's lost 50 pounds since his high school days to now. And he's been at a few stops. He was at UNLV for a little bit. He was at George Mason for a little bit. Last year, he was at UCF. Shout out to E. Henry. And then now he's at Auburn. So he's definitely got around, but he's lost a ton of weight. The skill has always been there. It's just always been the weight issue. And now that he looks the part, John Calipari, he gave John Calipari in Arkansas like 33 the other night. And John Calipari is going to come up to the podium and say, man, I didn't think Kashawn Hall was that good. All right, coach. I wouldn't want my coach to say that because that's stupid. He just gave us 33. You didn't think he was that good? You didn't think he was capable of doing those things? What film are you watching? But also, I give him grace because, like I said before, earlier in the season, they weren't putting the ball in his hands like he was the best player. They were kind of allowing Pettiford to be that. And again, Pearl was just trying to figure out things. Now they figured it out. He's the guy. He's playing like it. His volume has gone up like it. And it scares me tonight because he's the perfect matchup for Dalen Swain. The problem with that is you need Dalen Swain to score. You need him to be on his game offensively. He can't put all his energy on the defensive end. Like, not everybody has that,
He's got to guard without fouling.
Yeah, he's got to guard without fouling. You worry about that. Like, this is one of those Kendall Weaver games where Kendall Weaver is going to have to make life.
This is where he needs to be face guarding. He needs to be face guarding Keyshawn Hall.
Yeah. But when you're face guarding, what's happening behind you?
I don't care.
Else? You don't care?
I don't want Keyshawn Hall to touch the ball. We're going to deny him. We're going to deny him everywhere.
And Tahad Pettiford's very capable of going off too. So, yes, I see what you mean by that, but be careful because somebody has to guard Pettiford, and I'm sure they're going to put Tremont Mark on him a little bit. When Sim Wilcher comes in, if you got Jordan Pope on them, Lord.
Oh.
Tonight's going to be a tough night for Jordan Pope defensively.
Or Cam Heide.
Yeah. Tonight's going to be a tough night for Jordan Pope defensively.
This is where you need a guy like Nick Cody or Declan DeRue to have come along enough defensively to where they can come in and give you some face guard minutes.
Yeah, and the whole so we played the Bucky ball video last week. Remember that? A&M Bucky ball. They're making fun of it. They're having a good time, having fun. The Aggies, they're having a blast this year. So now Texas saw that. And now Texas social media team, they have to make it look like Texas is having a lot of fun. And they made this video that came out today, which involves Nick Cody.
Hey, somebody dunk the ball. Go dunk it if you want to be on camera. For real? Yeah, you want to go dunk it. Go dunk it. Dunk it again, Modest. You got it. Okay. You feel me, though? You feel me, though?
Of course, they're in Auburn's gym. Yeah. Not quite sure about that.
I'm not quite sure about that. He's not playing. Why is he happy? I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I refuse. If the social media team was like, hey, Zay, we know you're not playing, but can we make a video? And again, good for Nick Cody for being a good teammate. Good for him being a good teammate. Because let's say that first. He is a good teammate to where he's not playing, yet he is staying engaged. I see him on the bench, hyping up his teammates, celebrating. Obviously, he's smiling here, having fun, taking pictures. Cool. Awesome. But also on another side, it's like, bro, they need somebody like you. They need somebody like Declan DeRue. You should be pissed that you're not playing. There's a way you could do both. There's a way you could show that you're still a good teammate. You're still engaged. You're preparing like a pro. When your name is called, which who knows when the hell that will be, you will be ready. But also, I'm sorry, y'all. I ain't doing that. I'm not giving y'all this footage like everything's cool with me because it's not. I'm not playing. That's the objective here. They got people in the stands being fans and cheering and stuff. You didn't come to Texas to be a cheerleader. You came to be a hooper. You came to hoop. And you're not doing that. And there's a reason why. It's because Sean Miller straight up doesn't trust you. He doesn't. He doesn't. There's zero trust there. Anything that Sean Miller has asked you to do, you're not doing it to the standard that Sean Miller needs from you. Because Nick Cody has the measurements, man. 6'9", long, he's athletic. You don't have to score to be effective. I understand he's not polished offensively. He's still very young, but there's no excuse why he shouldn't be getting minutes just off of effort and having a defensive mentality. Crash the boards.
Right.
Dive on the floor.
Right.
things like that. And if he's not showcasing any of that, where Sean Miller's like, man, you're not worth playing. You're actually a liability more than a value for us. And the most telling was when it was the Kentucky game, Chip, and Cam Heide, he got the BGs, the bubble guts. So instead of playing the next power forward, they started Simeon Wilcher, a 5'11" guard, alongside Jordan Pope. That was the most telling thing I saw with Declan DeRue and Nick Cody. Throw Declan DeRue in this too, because obviously I'm hitting Nick Cody because he was a part of that video, but DeRue, same thing with him. And I give him more grace because he's coming from Germany, language barrier, culture barrier, game barrier, everything that he's trying to adjust to. It's a lot. So I'm giving him a little bit of grace there. But
they list Wilcher at 6'4".
Hell no.
They list Wilcher at 6'4".
No, that's Diego Pavia shit right there, man. I ain't buying that.
He said 5'11".
Do you see what they listed Diego Pavia as? He's 6 foot. What did we see in this?
Yeah, but 6'4".
And does he look 6'4" on that court? He looks 6 foot. I'm gonna say 5'11". I'm gonna say 5'11". He ain't no 6'4".
You got me.
You need to stop lying.
You got me questioning everything now.
Yeah, we need to stop lying about these guys' height.
Is Tremont Mark 6'5"?
I don't even know if he's that. He's at least 6'3". I know that.
They list Nick Cody at 6'8".
He be playing like he's 6'6".
They list Camden Heide at 6'7".
He's 6'5".
Declan DeRue 6'8".
He's 6'5".
Dalen Swain 6'8".
He might be 6'7".
Kendall Weaver 6'3".
He might be 6'1".
Damn.
What's Jordan Pope?
Jordan Pope is listed at 6'1".
Jordan Pope's Bucky size.
Jordan Pope is what, 5'11"?
At least. Why do we lie about the height, man?
Well, under Barnes, they used to measure the guys without shoes, and that was the measurement. So guys were shorter than they were actually on the court. Now you're saying they've swung it back to Colt McCoy being listed at 6'3".
Yeah.
And Colt's 6'1".
Yeah, I don't understand why they do this, man. Like, what's the point of saying Diego Pavia's 6 foot? And if he wants to go to the league, he's going to get measured the right way. Yeah, 5'9", 7/8".
Well, that's a great breakdown of tonight's game, by the way.
Appreciate you, man.
Fantastic job. Now I'm excited to see how Texas attacks this. Just like I'm excited to bring in Hole-in-one Hummer. Hole-in-one Hummer. The man who broke the story about Lawrence Seymour. Okay, Hummer, can you help us with the waiver that Texas did? He didn't play. He was a red shirt in 21. He played in 22. He did not play at all in 23.
Yep.
Was he injured that year?
I believe so. I believe it's a medical waiver he's applying for.
All right, then he should get it.
You would think. I think Texas took him for a reason. Like you're not taking somebody with the idea that they won't be eligible in most cases. Although there are a few of those sitting out there right now with big question marks as to whether the waivers will go through. But yeah, I think there's some optimism that he'll end up getting it for sure.
Yeah, and he's played a lot of football. He's going to be in year 6. It's a veteran presence. Give us your thoughts on Lawrence Seymour.
Can't say I know a ton about interior offensive line play, if we're being honest, but I mean, he's a guy, as you said, that's played a lot of snaps, was a second-team All-American this year for some people. I think he only gave up 1 sack over the last 2 seasons. Began his career at Miami, so somebody with at least some upside, not just somebody that's coming from Akron and Western Kentucky. And most importantly, he gives you another body to play around with on the interior. Like Texas has optionality now as long as he's eligible that they didn't have a couple days ago. I certainly think Texas would have preferred maybe another person or two at offensive guard, but you can't have everything you want, even if you're Texas. And this is a pretty good backup plan for them in terms of adding some experience to that room and some optionality. Like Brandon Baker, you figure, is probably going to play guard this year, and he's never done that before. And this addition gives you some room to experiment and move guys around to find the best fit.
How optimistic are you, Hummer, in this offensive line now with this Seymour move? You know, because obviously last year was just such a dud and so inconsistent. Do you think that this is an offensive line worthy of a national championship with all the pieces around it?
I think it should be good enough. I think at tackle, you probably have 2 draft picks in Gooseby and Sani coming in. And then if you consider the experience along the interior, and there is plenty of experience, maybe not the production Texas fans are hoping for, but a lot of snaps played. Like, it should be good enough. Like, Texas has to run the ball better in 2026. And I think Texas feels like it got enough pieces there to make that unit better than what it was. And like, even some of the pieces they added in the portal that weren't starter level players, like, have experience. Like the guard they brought in from Oregon State has played a lot of snaps. So you're going to have 8 or 9 guys in that room who have played before and that you can move to if an injury happens, or if you want to make a change along the line for that week, if you're not getting the production you need. Like, Texas's offensive line is in better shape than what it was. Is it good enough to win a national championship? We'll see. Like, I have a hard time predicting how an offensive line comes together, because that's an unit more than almost any other on offense that is dependent on cohesion, timing, and everything else. So that'll be up to Kyle Flood to get that group ready. But as it's constructed, I think there's enough talent for Texas to do what it wants to do.
Hummer, how would you characterize Texas's search for offensive linemen in this portal class?
Targeted. I think generally Texas went after guys. Did they get them all? No, but I don't think Texas was just offering the top lineman that was in the portal for everyone, because frankly, like, chasing a guy like Jordan Seaton is in some ways a fool's errand. Not only is it incredibly expensive, but you also risk spooking the rest of your room. And there is a lot of stuff that goes with that. I think Texas was looking for depth at guard in addition to a starter. It definitely got the depth. I don't know if it got the starter it wanted, but they definitely did in Melvin Siani. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. Get a all-conference level player coming from Wake Forest. So that's a win, right? Like, you got Trevor Gooseby back. You got Sani coming in. Like, you feel very good about your 2 tackles. You feel good about where you are at center, given the experience there. And you got to just figure it out at guard. And like, is figure it out what you want ahead of a national championship run? Probably not. But at the same time, like, we're not too far away from like schools like 10 years ago just having to deal with what they had, right? And Texas has plugged almost every single hole in the roster this offseason. And that's a big deal, right? Like, Texas feels better about its roster than 99% of teams in the country. And I think Texas fans that are freaking out about the offensive line should remember that. There are no other real obvious holes on this roster. Texas did a really good job, I think, overall in the portal filling them. It was very expensive to do so, and it did so. Is offensive line like kind of a question mark? Sure. But could Brandon Baker be a high-level guard for Texas next year? Absolutely. It's just, I think, dependent on how this unit comes together and how these individual pieces come together over the next couple months.
Yeah. Hummer, how did Ole Miss, because according to the 24/7 Sports transfer football team rankings, Ole Miss is number 2 right after LSU, which is ironic with Lane Kiffin moving on to Baton Rouge. But what did Pete Golden and that Ole Miss staff, with everything that happened, do in order to bring in that number 2 transfer portal class?
You should ask Dabo Sweeney that question. I think they were very aggressive because they had to be. To be honest, I think Ole Miss was put in a really difficult position. That I don't think people understand how weird the Ole Miss LSU stuff was for a month. You had coaches, a lot of coaches coaching Ole Miss who were going to be LSU employees like 2 weeks later. And like, if you don't think they weren't recruiting those guys to come to LSU in some cases, you're crazy. And LSU took a ton of Ole Miss players, and Ole Miss essentially had to backfill behind them. And I think Ole Miss was very aggressive in the portal. Were there some areas I think Ole Miss wishes it could have done better at or improved at a little bit? Sure. Like, I think they think Trinidad Chambliss is going to get the injunction, but they would have liked to have a more definite answer at quarterback other than Deuce Knight. But I think overall, if you look at the talent level of Ole Miss and you look at the way they spent, like, Ole Miss is going to be really competitive next year in a way that you maybe don't expect after losing your head coach the way they did. Obviously, things are going to have to come together, and you're taking pretty big bets on somebody like Jonte Cook to walk in the door and be on his best behavior and really work out. But there's no doubt they're a really talented group now after what they did in the portal. They just really have to hope Trinidad Chambliss gets his injunction.
Yeah. Hummer, who surprised you in the portal? Who surprised you with how well they did?
I think Kentucky's a really good example of that. Will Stein, familiar name for Texas fans. Obviously, he worked here under Tom Herman and Charlie Strong. Also was an offensive coordinator at Lake Travis, first-year head coach, and they have a top 10 portal class. And a big part of that is what is honestly the best offensive line group in the country out of the portal. Like, we just talked about what Texas didn't do in the portal at offensive line. Kentucky did it. They got Lance Hurd from Tennessee, the number 4 offensive tackle in the portal. According to 24/7 Sports, they got Colton, the center from Baylor, number 1 center in the portal for 24/7 Sports. They took an offensive lineman from Ohio State, Tegra, number 1 interior offensive lineman in the portal for 24/7 Sports. There wasn't a better offensive line class in the portal than Kentucky. And they went and got Kenny Minchie at quarterback. They took a couple of other pieces of the portal that I really like. Some high upside pieces with some injury risks, like Nick Anderson and CJ Baxter. Obviously, CJ Baxter is a familiar name for Texas fans, but I think they really loaded up on offense. And defensively, they took Jay Bateman from Texas A&M. He's going to be the defensive coordinator there. And I thought they made some really good additions on that side of the ball, too. I really liked what Kentucky did. You can tell they upped their spend in the portal. You could tell they were much more aggressive than maybe Mark Stoops has been the last couple of years. And I think Kentucky's talent levels really made a jump. And I think Texas doesn't play Kentucky this year, right? I think
Right.
I think they are fortunate that this Kentucky roster isn't necessarily the one they faced a lot. Texas is fortunate they don't draw Kentucky this year as they did the last 2 years.
Yeah. Hummer, the Penn State Cyclones, that's what I'm going to call them this whole year, because Matt Campbell basically just took everybody with him down to State College, and I think they're going to be one of the more underrated teams in the nation. How do you feel about Matt Campbell and Penn State?
Yeah, man, it's Penn State. It's what, Iowa State North, or however you want to do it. Like, I mean, there's a lot of familiar faces, and I think they did what they could, right? Like, James Franklin kind of did the same thing, right? Virginia Tech is Penn State East. Like, Virginia Tech, I think, took double-digit Penn State players, and I think Penn State's going to be very good. They took the best pieces on Iowa State's roster and brought them up there. Matt Campbell's a good coach. Is that group going to be talented enough to compete with Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and USC in year one? I don't know, but I think the group that Penn State put together is really, really solid. I think they do a really nice job from an evaluation standpoint. And their front office, I think they found some gems in that class. And then obviously having people like Rocco Becht as like the foundation of your bridge from the your bridge from the James Franklin era to the Matt Campbell era, I think is going to be a very successful start. I think their floor is very high next year because of all the pieces they brought in.
So Hummer, LSU, Lane Kiffin, 40 commitments. Number 1 transfer portal class, Sam Levitt. Your thoughts on what Lane Kiffin was able to bring in to the Tigers, who Texas does play in Baton Rouge next year?
Well, Deion Sanders once brought in Louis, and I think LSU brought in a lot of Louis, and it cost about as much as like 40 bags of Louis would cost. Like, it was not a cheap roster. I think LSU is right there for Texas, with Texas next year, as in terms of the most expensive rosters in the SEC. And I think Lane Kiffin did an excellent job reloading, and he kind of had to, right? Like, he got a record-setting contract from LSU to go there from Ole Miss. There was a lot of hullabaloo that went with that. It was one of the more controversial exits you'll ever see. And Lane Kiffin, I think, had to deliver given the investment that LSU was making. And like, I mean, they're the first team in history to sign 3 of the top 5 players in the portal. If you think about the 3 most important positions on a football field, it's quarterback, offensive left tackle, and edge. And they got the number 1 quarterback, the number 1 left tackle, and the number 1 edge out of the portal. It was extremely expensive. I think Sam Levitt, Jordan Seaton, and Princewell, I am sorry to our Mainer friends out there. I still can't pronounce his last name despite covering him and his brother for half a decade now. But I think easily those 3 together were $8 million, and that's on the low end. So when you have players that are that expensive coming in, expectations are extremely high. And I think LSU has put itself in position to make a run to the playoff next year. But I think Lane Kiffin has more pressure on him than any first-year head coach has in a really long time.
Yeah. Hummer, Gary Patterson in Los Angeles, that doesn't really go together, but here we are, defensive coordinator.
You don't think Gary's going to be out there at some like LA bar at 2 a.m. just playing some country music?
Sky Bar Gary.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's changed in these last few years, but I highly doubt that. How do you think that's going to work out, Gary Patterson over there for Southern Cal?
I love the hire, to be honest. I don't know, Gary Patterson, I think, is a coach out of a different era. And I think that would affect him if he had to be a head coach. But if you just put Gary Patterson in the lab and let him coach defense, like, I just don't know how many people are better at that than Gary Patterson. I think that was a really inspired hire by Lincoln Riley, who quietly is also going to have a ton of pressure on him going into next year. And USC should have a roster capable of competing for championships next year. And I think Gary Patterson helps put USC in a position to do that. That's something I'd been hearing rumblings of for about 2 or 3 weeks before it ultimately happened. I think we might have broken that he was going to be the hire eventually anyway. And I think he was one of a number of candidates USC went through. But like, ultimately, Lincoln Riley zeroed in on Gary Patterson as the guy that could fix a defense that still 6 or 7 years later, like going back to his time at Oklahoma, still has been a bugaboo for Lincoln Riley. And I think if I was going to put my trust in anyone to do it, it would be Gary Patterson. I mean, Texas fans, I think, certainly have pretty fond memories of the essentially year Gary Patterson spent in Austin helping the defense. That was a very successful group that season. And I would bet on Gary Patterson being successful at USC.
Yeah, and you see his players, D. Winter out there tearing it up for the 49ers. I mean, Gary did a great job of evaluating talent too. So Lincoln might learn a little something in the evaluation side of things, Hummer, because Gary found those athletes who love football, and then he just found a position for them.
There ain't no question. I don't think USC's struggling from a recruiting standpoint right now. They're number 1, and they had just the number 1 class. But I agree with you. I think a criticism of USC the last decade has been like you have all these high level recruits. Why aren't they translating? I think Gary Patterson's always been really good at finding the players who translate and finding the players with the traits who can translate to what he wants to do. I think Gary Patterson has a very clear vision defensively of what he wants to be as a coach. And I think if you give him the tools that he'll have at USC, and no offense to his TCU teams of old, but like the USC roster is way more talented than anything Gary Patterson had to work with annually in Fort Worth. He could be very successful.
Hummer, with the last 3 national championships going to the Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State, and now Indiana, are they the best conference? Are they number 1 and SEC number 2 in your opinion?
I think it depends on how you define best. If you want to talk about the team that won a national championship, the high-end teams, like the talent at the top, I think you have to say yes, right? Like I think Michigan, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, which almost made the college football national championship 2 years ago, have shown that the upper level of the Big Ten is prepared to play when it comes to the college football playoff time. But if you want to talk about depth from top to bottom, like no, like the SEC is still a better league in terms of depth. No offense to Purdue, but I think if you had Purdue play Kentucky, like Kentucky's going to win that game 8 out of 10 times. Do I think the Big Ten is undervalued in terms of its depth? Absolutely. I think people sell the Big Ten short a lot of cases because Minnesota isn't as sexy of a name as Arkansas. But I think the quality of football is very good for some of those mid-tier to like kind of 3rd or 4th rung Big Ten teams. But I still think from top to bottom, the SEC is the better league.
Hummer, next year, Texas is going to play Florida, Mississippi State, Ole Miss at home. They're going to, of course, play OU at the Cotton Bowl. Then at LSU, at Mizzou, at Tennessee, at A&M. How good are Florida and Tennessee going to be next year?
I think it's very TBD. I think Tennessee could regress. I actually really loved what Tennessee did in the transfer portal defensively. I think they loaded up on that side of the ball. And I think with the changes they made to that staff, obviously they signed Jim Knowles to be their defensive coordinator. He was the savior of Ohio State season 2 years ago. Defensively, when they won a national championship, I think Tennessee is going to be really, really good on that side of the ball, especially with all the ads they made in the portal. The question for me with Tennessee is like what the offense looks like. Josh Heupel's offense comes with a certain ceiling. It's just the reality of that veer and shoot offense that he runs. It's not like the pure distilled Art Briles veer and shoot that we saw for so many years at Baylor, but it's a similar offense and you're going to score points in it. I just don't know if they have the trigger man at quarterback right now to be as successful as they'd like to be to put them in the playoff mix. But I still think they're going to be a very dangerous team for a team like Texas to deal with, especially when you consider how good they should be defensively. So I think that game could be a roadblock. Florida, we'll see. Like, I think John Summerall is an excellent coach. I think Florida's put together a pretty good roster, but like they also have a question at quarterback. They're going to start 1 or 2 guys, and neither one of them has, I don't think either Tramel Jones or Aaron Philo has started more than 1 game combined in their careers. So we'll see what happens. But Florida is a pretty talented roster. Texas found that out this year, and a lot of that talent is still there. So I think both those games are going to be difficult for Texas.
Yeah. How do you like Arthur Smith as the Ohio State offensive coordinator? Obviously, he's been in the NFL for quite some time. Steelers are their offensive coordinator, head coach of the Falcons. Now he'll be in Columbus helping out Ryan Day. Good move or nah?
I think it's a good move. I mean, I know Ohio State's kind of become like the like the Nick Saban School for Hard Knocks, where guys would just show up there as an analyst for a year or 2 before going somewhere else. Like Ryan Day's just doing that with his coordinators. Like, to be honest, Chip Kelly, Matt Patricia, Arthur Smith now, like NFL head coaches are just stopping to be coordinators for a year or 2 in Columbus. And I think that's a good hire, man. Like, he is a good play caller. He's been a good player caller his entire career. I know I'm sure Falcons fans and Steelers fans don't love Arthur Smith for a variety of reasons, but he didn't get those jobs by accident. He's a very good play caller. I think in the college infrastructure where all he's going to be asked to do is draw up plays and call plays, he's going to be really, really good. They don't really make coordinators do a lot of recruiting in this era, especially at these kind of bigger places. So Arthur Smith's just going to get to cook, and I think he's going to be totally fine. Personally, if I was Arthur Smith and his dad is the founder of FedEx, I would just retire. But I respect him.
Yeah, amen to that. Hummer, who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Oh man, the Seahawks, I guess. I was not impressed by the Patriots on their run to the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that. But you never know. Like Mike Vrabel's a great coach, and that offense has been tough to watch. But you only really need to play well for 60 minutes, and New England could easily win that game. But the Seahawks have been the best team in the NFC all year, to be frank, outside of maybe the Rams, which they just clipped to go to the Super Bowl. And I don't know. It seems weird to bet on Sam Darnold, who saw ghosts against New England, like 7 or 8 years ago on national TV, but they've got the best defense in football and are playing really great offensively. And Jackson Smith-Njigba, a Texan native, somebody that I believe Drew Maringer declined to recruit out of high school not too long ago. It's turned into the NFL's best receiver. So I'll bet on the Seahawks.
Yeah. Drake May's been sacked 15 times in 3 games, in 3 playoff games. 6 fumbles, 3 lost. I mean,
sounds like Arch Manning for a while this year.
Oh, yeah. Zay, you got one more?
Yeah, dude, Shep, Hummer, Bill Belichick got snubbed being on the first ballot of the Hall of Fame. Do you think it has anything to do with how he's been living ever since he quit the NFL and what he's doing now in Chapel Hill?
Absolutely. I don't, Bill Belichick is like, if you look at who votes on that list, like half of them are media members and half of them are like retired coaches. And I don't know, man, like people, the way you treat people matters, man. And like, I mean, I'm sure like doing yoga on the beach with Jordan Hudson also like has something to do with it, but I think it has a lot more to do with how Bill Belichick interacted with people the last 20 years. I'm not saying it's right. Like he is a first ballot Hall of Famer. There's no question, but like it ultimately matters, like how you interact with people and how you deal with people. And I think Bill Belichick is suffering the ill will of that. And also, like, I think as we've seen in some of these reports that people don't like the whiff of cheating that you get from Spygate and Deflategate. And I guess he's being punished for that. But I hope people keep the same energy when Tom Brady comes up for the Hall of Fame. But they won't, because Tom Brady is very likable and Bill Belichick isn't. And Tom Brady will be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
And Tom Brady won a Super Bowl separate from Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick just won 4 games as North Carolina's head coach, but give him some respect.
Hey, Hummer, no one was more proud of you for your hole-in-one than Chip and Zay. We have loved having you on the show. This is our final week as a show.
Oh, dang. I did not realize.
Yeah. Unfortunately. So we just want to thank you for being a great source of infotainment here on Chip and Zay.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. It's been a lot of fun for me to come on weekly and spout some crappy takes out there for the world. And I look forward to seeing y'all both around Austin still. But sorry to hear that, guys. It's been very fun,
it's all good, Hummer. We appreciate you, man.
Yeah, we do.
One of the best in the biz, and having you on has been an honor, my brother. So good looking out.
I remember when Hummer was just a student at the University of Texas, and now look at him. Breaking all the stories. He's the man. We appreciate you, dog.
Still not getting haircuts, but hey, get the chat. Give a round of applause to Chip and Zay. Great show. Like,
appreciate you.
I enjoyed it, guys. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, Hummer. Be good.
All right, y'all. Sounds good.
Thanks, Hummer.
There he is. Hole-in-one Hummer. Doing it. Proud of him, man. It's hard to get a hole-in-one.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I don't think he's played golf since.
I know he's been
talking about it for a while, which I get. Like, After you do that, why would you go mess things up, you know?
Or you could just try and get another one.
True, but
I know a guy who has 9 hole-in-ones. I'm like, can I get one?
you don't think that guy's a liar?
Maybe.
Does he have proof? Like, I don't even buy Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. I don't buy that.
Right, we don't have video.
We don't got video. Like, people say John Stockton's all-time assist leader and steals leader. I've seen some of those assists. They throw it to Karl Malone. Karl Malone holds the ball for 5 seconds, then turns around and shoots it. That don't count. But they used to check it off for old Johnny boy. Yeah, man. People inflate stats all the time. I need proof. You did?
Proof.
Yeah.
All right, let me give you some proof. Let me give you some proof of some better health. How about better health in 2026? Before we sign off on Friday, I want some of you out there who are looking to take your health up a notch to do it the Humann way, like I'm doing. Humann with 2 N's. The advanced formulas, the science developed right there at the University of Texas Health Science Center. Humann is to Texas what Gatorade is to Florida. And Humann's formulas are next level. Okay. I'm going to show you the 3 supplements that I take in addition to my Super Beats Heart Chews and my turmeric chews. The Metabolic Health Daily. We're talking about healthy blood sugar and weight management so that you're not trending towards adult onset diabetes. Metabolic Health Daily. The Cardiovascular Health Daily, helping you with blood flow, blood pressure, making sure that your blood is flowing and the calcium's not hitting. And then the Cholesterol Health Daily, accentuating the good cholesterol that we need, not the bad cholesterol. You can keep taking your fish pills for that. But the Cholesterol Health Daily, you go to Humann with 2Ns.com, use the promo code TSU, and you're going to get 20% off your first order. And I would load up on those. I would load up on the Super Beats Heart Chews and the turmeric chews. The Super Beats Heart Chews, the beet-based formula, #1 recommended by cardiologists. It's going to help you support healthy blood pressure 2 times more effectively than just diet and exercise. And the turmeric chews, anti-inflammatory. Where's the pain come from? Inflammation. So let's take our turmeric chews every day, reduce that inflammation. You're going to feel better. All these supplements are going to make your brain fog go away. You're just going to feel better. I promise you, because I have collected supplements over the years. These are the best. Go to Humann with 2Ns.com/TSU. Use the promo code TSU. Hey, want to thank Cover 3. I want to thank Doug Young, Matt Dodson. They've been great supporters of Texas Sports Unfiltered. They've got a fantastic new restaurant down south in Buda called Whiskey Ridge. So it's worth taking your date down to Whiskey Ridge. Beautiful restaurant down there. And in the heart of Austin, they've got all parts of Austin covered. They got Cover 3 Round Rock, Cover 3 Anderson right in the heart of Austin. And, just high-end food without the high-end prices and the vibe, the service, the attention to detail. I love, Doug and Matt are 2 Austin kids who grew up and had a dream of opening a restaurant with high-end food without the high-end prices where you can watch your favorite team. And that's what they've done at Cover 3. Cover 3 Anderson, Cover 3 Round Rock. The brunch, the breakfast quesadilla, the do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar on the weekends, the happy hour all night on Mondays. Go get the Sean Adams prime rib sandwich. It's glorious. And hey, guys, I'm not kidding. For my guys who are snoring, the Sleep Cycle Center of Austin, take advantage of this partnership before it goes away. Dr. Chad Denman, He's one of the foremost experts in treating sleep apnea in the country. He's in Austin. He's got locations in Lakeway and at the Arboretum. And you go to sleepcyclecenters.com. Tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. They're going to take $100 off your sleep study. That sleep study is going to give Dr. Chad all the information he needs to know your level of sleep apnea, and he's got the best treatment options, including oral appliances like I have, a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open so that I get that oxygen when I'm asleep. Do it for you. Do it for the person sleeping next to you. And hey, our man Tom McKay, we love Tom McKay. He wants to help you. He wants to bring you the best price on big screens. And it's so simple. You don't need to be lugging TVs around town, punching holes in your drywall. Just call 255-8678. Tom's put big screens in 3 different houses for me in my 30 plus years in Austin. He's the best in the business. He puts the big screens and surround sound in all your favorite restaurants. Just call 255-8678. He can handle anything audiovisual. Tom and his crew, they're going to bring everything to you, and they're going to hang that big screen like a masterpiece in a museum. You don't need to be punching holes in your drywall. Let Tom take care of it. You can do other things. Just call 255-8678. Appreciate you, Tom. All right, Zay. And we can work our way. We're a little early on the commentary. Let me see here. There was don't forget about the alumni game for baseball this weekend. That is the sign that the Texas baseball season is about to begin. So should be good weather out there at the dish. And I think there's a lot of excitement around this baseball team. I'm a jaded, old, cynical media member, and I'm excited about this baseball team. I'm excited to see how it comes together, excited to see how the pitching comes together, see what Texas has got it, first and third and shortstop, and who the outfielders are going to be. Don't forget about Ashton Larson, the LSU transfer in the outfield, because I think you're going to see, we're definitely going to see Aiden Robbins out there. Dude batted .422 last year, for crying out loud. But Ashton Larson, he's a junior transfer from LSU. Guy, he batted 256 as a sophomore at LSU, batted .298 as a freshman. It's in there. He's, started 45 games in 2 years, and I want to see what he brings to the table as well. And I'm super excited about Sam Cozart. Comes from a baseball family, big, strong, flamethrower as a freshman pitcher. So I think it's going to be fun. I'm going to go out to that game on Saturday, see what it's all about.
Yeah, I'm excited for baseball season, man. Like, this team should be highly motivated because they started off like this was going to be an Omaha year in 2025, and just a lot of injuries, Spencer getting hurt and Max Ballou and, Adrian Rodriguez getting hurt, not being able to be a switch hitter, which that's a big reason why he's such a huge draft prospect, because his versatility, like when it comes to defense, you can put him anywhere. And then offensively, to be so young and to be a switch hitter, which guys ain't doing that no more. Those days of Chipper Jones, guys like that, it's kind of over. So for Adrian Rodriguez to be that's a big reason why he's such a high draft prospect. And him not being able to do that definitely set them back even more so last year, again, with all those injuries. So you want to knock on wood, Ethan Mendoza put on 20 pounds because he wants to avoid the injury that he suffered last year. I mean, Ethan Mendoza being good, boy, being good. That's what I'm talking about. That's what you got to do. That's what it's all about, man. Like, how do I get better? It's not just skill work. It's not just practicing. It's what you do off the field. And Ethan Mendoza, he's trying to be a show guy later in his career. So, yeah, I think this team, Coach Weiner, everybody's just locked in. Tulo, like, you still got a really good staff, man. I think arguably the best staff in the nation. So put all that together with all this talent that you got, Carson Tenney coming in, just a lot of big time names. And yeah, Longhorn fans, they have every right to be excited. Like, this is Omaha or bust. I mean, it is for every year for Texas baseball, but really this year, it's Omaha or bust. So I'm excited. And I think this team, they're ready for all that pressure.
Yeah. Yeah. And Texas softball as well. I mean, this is going to be they're already the national champs and they're positioned. Tech's coming for them. OU's coming for them. It's hard to defend, but you got Tegan Cavan, you got Reese Atwood. You've added, a couple of talented additions out of the portal. You've added Hannah Wells. Hell, you got a pitcher who can't even pitch this year, who's, a mid-year transfer. So she can't, softball, baseball, and basketball do not allow mid-year transfers to be eligible immediately because they don't want players playing for two different teams in a single season, basically, even though it doesn't really apply to baseball, softball, but
yeah, what
really applies to basktobasketball. And that's about it. But still, I think Mike White feels good about what he's brought in to the program to supplement what he's got and fill the holes of what he's lost. So Texas softball getting ready for its season as well. And they're either 1, 2, or 3 in pretty much every poll you look at. So look at this. We're getting some.
By the way, you go into the, you heard about, which congrats to these two, but Ashton Maloney, Kimball Schuessler getting married.
How about that?
Right?
See, that's where am I going to get my intel?
I just do what I can, man. Because we got Jordan Whittington
and Maddie Skinner. Yep. We got CJ Baxter and Mia Scott.
Yep.
We got Shea Holly and Garrett Wilson, but now we've got Ashton Maloney, who's still on the team. And Kimball Schuessler, who's going to be missed.
Yeah, he was good.
Damn, was he good. Right?
Hell yeah, Kimball Schuessler's nice.
Schloss called him the best defensive first baseman he's ever coached. Damn. And the guy was a catcher. He went from catcher to first base last year and killed it.
Yeah.
So where'd you see that? Kimball Schuessler and Ashton Maloney getting married?
The Gram.
Okay.
Instagram, man.
Yeah, she's a senior this year. And you got, don't forget, Kagan Crabtree, right? I think is dating Austin Gooseby. Hope I got that right.
I think that's right.
Kagan Crabtree, one of the top prospects coming into the softball program. Could be.
That's right. I'll go bootleg for you. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that.
What a cute couple.
Kimball Schuessler, that hair, he's wilding. Baseball season's over, dog. I hope the hair gets changed before the wedding pictures.
Yeah,
now, she loves them regardless. Like, she understands a baseball player.
Show that again, because it looks like he's got breakup bangs going on there. And he ain't breaking up with anybody. Yeah, you need to come on.
Yo, he's wilding. He's gonna have to get a cut. He's gonna have to get a fresh cut before the wedding, before they take their engagement pictures, all that stuff. But
yeah, just throw some gel in there and spike it up or something.
I mean, if you wear a hat all the time, you know how these baseball players do. They wear a hat everywhere. So, you know, you can't wear a hat walking down the aisle, Kimball. You can't do that. So he'll figure it out. He'll get it. He'll get it. Young love, though. I appreciate that.
Look at this. Louis says, hey, Chip, I just want to say thank you. It was because of you that I took your advice on my son in tennis. And now he's a superstar, fixing to blow it up in 8th grade. He killed it in 7th grade. Love to hear that.
That's dope.
That's awesome. Congrats, Luis. I
man.
mean, that's awesome. Yeah, if you got a good athlete, especially, you know, you don't have to be the biggest, tallest, strongest. You can be the fastest. You can be the most clever. Tennis is, you know, if you got good hand-eye, go get it, man, because there's opportunity there. So love to hear that.
Oh,
What does John Brown tell us? If he has a daughter, he's putting her in tennis.
Yep.
Just like Richard Williams.
Screw basketball, screw volleyball, screw soccer, tennis and golf. I think he said golf too.
Golf. Yeah, he said tennis and golf.
That's my guy. Yo, man, please try to get him on if we can these last 2 days.
Yeah, I will.
Man.
I'll try and get him for tomorrow because Drew Fabianich is buried. So
yeah, I knew he wouldn't be able to do nothing.
The week of the Senior Bowl, so he's in it.
Yeah.
Louis says, "Hey, I'm gonna miss your basketball knowledge. I always appreciate you being a ATXer.
Yeah, man. ATX always be home, baby.
Always representing.
Slaughter Lane.
Slaughter Lane. Slaughter Lane.
Slaughter Lane, South Side. Oak Hill. Tanglewood. Oh, ain't nothing happened in them neighborhoods. Very peaceful life I live. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Y'all worked hard for that. I appreciate it.
Hey.
Still gotta throw out the hood, you know what I'm saying? Still gotta throw it out. Now, I was getting dropped off east side a lot to hoop. Givens Rec Center, Dorse Miller.
Would CC drive you up there?
Yes.
Would he stay? Would he stay and watch?
Yeah. Yeah.
He didn't drop you off. He stayed.
Yeah. And he always just had like connections like that. Like he know guys who own these gyms and different coaches, and he would know where different games would be held at and pickup games. And, you know, he'll let my brother know. He'll be like, hey, they're playing here. Take Isaiah with you. That's how I saw Kevin Durant at Northwest Rec Center.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Dove Springs too, Code 420. Dove Springs Rec Center, right across the street from Mendez Middle School. Come on, man. Hell yeah.
There.
Hell yeah. The Fofo, 787 Fofo. We were out there, man. We were hooping. Used to think that we were soft on that right side of 35. No. I just go over there. Killing. Yeah.
Killing.
That 10-5. When I went over there, that 10-5, it was 15-8 when I would go East Austin. Because I knew I would have to raise my game. It'd be like, oh, who this dark-skinned brother? You think he could play with us?
I love how it's always dark-skinned, light-skinned.
That's how they looked at you. They looked at you like, who the hell is this? Who is this? They called me, hey, Black, come over here. I'd be like, yo, bro, you barely a shade lighter than me. How you calling me Black? Okay, cool. Get some of that black.
Oh, God.
Get some of that black, baby.
Oh, my God.
Good times, man.
That's cracking me up. All right, Coach 420. You name it. we'll get together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, for the chip shot today, man, I just want to talk about people believing in themselves. You know, I want to talk about people believing in what they really want to be doing and chasing their passion and making sure that you're feeding your soul, because that's important. That's important. It can be what you do with your career. It can be what you like to do in your free time, but don't let go of those passions, because that's what gets you fired up. That's what gets you excited. That's what gets you motivated. That's what gets you to your best. And, you know, as kids, it's easier to find because you think it's all ahead of you. So I'm gonna go chase it. I'm gonna train. I'm gonna drink raw eggs like Rocky, and I'm gonna go run 5 miles. But as you get older and you get even, you know, my age, in your 50s, you still gotta find that. You gotta find that stuff that makes you, you know, feel that passion, feel that rush. It could be drawing, it could be reading, or it could be continuing to play sports. But don't let go of it. You know, don't let go of it, because you got one life to live. You got one life to live. And like I said, got my physical today. You know, I gotta go get another colonoscopy. You can get down and you can say, my time is past. Or you can say, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep striving. I'm gonna keep reaching. If there's something you've always wanted to do and you haven't done it yet, don't give up on it. Keep going. It's worth it. There's a sense of getting over the hill or getting there, getting to the finish line. You know, for some people, it's like running a marathon. I ran a marathon. It's hell. I'm never running another one again. But there's, you know, that metaphor of grinding. That sometimes the process of grinding and trying to achieve is more valuable than achieving the goal. Don't make it about the end. Make it about continuing to strive for it. And who knows, you might just get it. But if you are passionate about something and you've been thinking, you know what, I really want to do this. I really want to go finish this degree, or I want to work in this field. I don't want to work in that field. Or why did I stop playing tennis? Or, you know, for my man Zay, I always tell him, get back out there and officiate. You got to have the best, you know, basketball referee in Central Texas out there officiating. But don't give up on those things, because those things are what keep you alive. They bring out the best in you. And so keep chasing it, keep striving, no matter how old you are. Like, I hope to be playing tennis until they put me in a box. So, you know, just keep chasing it. That stuff is important. And, you know, you get this trip once, so let's do it.
Love it, man. I love it. That couldn't be more true, man. I appreciate that. I'm sure all our listeners and viewers appreciate that. And yeah, we all need to have that type of mindset, because you're right. It's easy to get just lost in the life. And if you're not chasing dreams, you're not staying, you know, positive and keep going, then things could get dark. So to have that positive mentality, I'm with it. I'm with it.
All right, let's get to the right call.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Before that, though, gotta give a shout out to Covert BK, best car dealership in the business. And trust me, I know personal. It's personal with Covert BK, man. That experience, never forget that experience. Coming in, I got anxiety. Wife got anxiety. You know, I gotta stop myself from shaking. You just never know. You just never know. Like, oh, do we have enough money? Is we gonna find something in our budget? Is my wife gonna be happy with what we get? And they put all those nerves to rest when we walked in and we started talking to my man, Michael, and just those guys, and just how easygoing they were, and Jerome and Marcus, Daniel, everybody that works at Covert BK. There's no sleazy car salesman. There's none of that just feeling where all these guys, they got to make their quota. They got to make as many sales as possible, which we get. That is the name of the game. But also, you don't want to feel that. And they don't make you feel that at Covert BK. 7 terrific brands to choose from: Buick, GMC, Cadillac, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Go to covertbk.com and see all their specials and inventory. You will not be disappointed. They got the new 2025s that are on sale. They cut the cost of those. So they getting ready for 2026. And they got those already too. So again, go to covertbk.com and check it out. Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Ship. Well, say what you want about this guy, but he is an absolute character, and I salute him because he gave Quinn Ewers a shot this year. And I am talking about Mike McDaniel. Got fired from Miami. Now he is the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers. And it's interesting because shout out to Hardball. Say what you want about him, but for somebody with the personality that Mike McDaniel has, some guys will be a little insecure about that. Some head coaches would think, and who knows? No, they haven't even played yet, so who knows how it will work. But as of right now, Mike McDaniel's getting a lot of attention, and clearly Hardball is good with it, because they're making all types of social media videos where they're showcasing Mike McDaniel's crazy, out there, different personality. And I really respect it because they're letting him be him. And even though it's Hardball's team, Mike McDaniel's a big part of that. And this video is a prime example of the treatment that he's getting already.
Who? Mike Jones. We saw you sprint away from the NBC reporter. What do you think your 40 is?
Miami 17-3. They get the ball to start the second half. The Toyota halftime. Go get him, Mike. Hustle in there.
Unrelated statement and then question. My 40 over 40 is probably in the 4s. If you put a camera right next to my face, you'll see, because I think that's awkward, so I run away. That's what I did there. What is your football ick? Lazy. Effort's non-negotiable to me. Snappy pre-snap play. Icks me. You gave the opposing team either way 5 yards and they didn't do a thing. Yeah. You have a degree in history from Yale. How often do you think of the Roman Empire? Every moment. I'm not sure how often, but I do think about it by nature of it's supremely impressive. It's like 3,000 years ago or something. That's crazy. Think about it a lot. Think about it right now. Describe your morning routine. I open my eyes up, and then I go. I specifically get up early to get all things done that don't have to do with human interaction, because I'm a lot. And in that process, I like to get coffee at the 3 and 4 a.m. type times, do cerebral work so that I'm not a weirdo when people get in the building and you want to engage and add value. What's your favorite thing about being a girl dad? Probably the girl that I'm a dad to is Ayla. I can live in Barbie time and tea time and all the different times, because when you're a girl dad, there's really nothing that you won't do for that girl. So.
Look at that. You don't see many offensive coordinators getting this treatment. You know what I'm saying? Usually when you're an offensive coordinator, do not overshadow the coach. That's not what you're going to do.
What do you think about that?
That's where I'm like, okay, I like it because he talks about his ick. One of my biggest icks is head coaches being insecure and not allowing the assistant that they freaking hired to have a voice or not completely be themselves because you're too worried about not getting the credit, or I don't know. It just drives me insane when head coaches, they want to take all the glory and they don't give their assistants and coordinators the love that they should. And they don't allow them to be themselves. And that's clearly not the case from what I've seen. It's only been a couple of days since he's gotten the gig. But I'm sure that went into the whole thing. Like, hey, are we going to give him all this social media love? Are we going to give him all this attention like he's a head coach? And Jim Harbaugh's like, yeah, let's do it. If that means we're going to win more games, if that means he's going to be more comfortable, let's do it. So for Jim Harbaugh to put whatever pride that he had aside, which you're a head coach, you definitely have some type of pride, to put it aside and be like, yeah, let's give this guy a let's make him feel welcome. Let's make him feel like he is a big part of the team, because he is, man. He is. Every coordinator is. So for the Chargers to do that, which I'm sure that's why McDaniel took the gig, because he's like, yo, I want to be myself. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And I admire it. I really do. Like, that's good for the Chargers.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Lions passed on McDaniel. Let's see how this all works out. But
interesting. A big voice comes in, the guy that has, a little bit of backbone. Dan Campbell was like, oh, I want to do everything. I want all the love. I want that. You're not good enough, Mike. You're not good enough to be here. We don't want
sometimes it's okay. Detroit's about grit and not, I don't know. I'm just spewing stuff now.
Yeah, you want to score a lot of points? Screw the grit. Let's score. Let's put up 40 a game. Screw the grit.
Come on, Dan. You found Ben Johnson. Make sure you find the next Ben Johnson.
Yep. And you see Ben. Ben wasn't taking his shirt off in Detroit. He couldn't. He couldn't step on old Danny Boy's toes. But when he got his own job,
hey.
He taking his shirt off. He's swinging it around with the team and stuff. Caleb Williams, comfortable, having a great time.
The funny thing is the Lions beat the Bears twice.
And what they do in the playoffs? What the Lions
0.
Interesting.
Yeah. Thanks.
You see big Mike McCarthy crying since he got the Steelers job?
Oh, man. People in Pittsburgh are losing their minds.
What?
Oh, yeah. I think he's just warmed over gruel. It's like, you're serving me porridge. You ain't serving me Permane Brothers sandwiches. You're serving me porridge.
Yo, he is a Steeler.
Hey, he did well in Dallas. It's not his fault that Dak decided to throw it to the wrong team all the time in the playoffs.
I knew that was coming.
I mean, McCarthy wasn't terrible.
No. He's a Super Bowl winning coach.
Yeah. And he's a Pittsburgh guy.
He's a Pittsburgh guy. He was crying and stuff. I appreciated that. Why are we hating on the man for shedding the tear because he loves what he does?
My only concern is if they please tell me you didn't hire him this should have no connection to trying to keep Aaron Rodgers for one more year.
Hell no.
This has got to be about the big picture. This cannot be about retaining Aaron Rodgers for one more year.
Yeah. If I'm Big Mike, I'm tanking my ass off this year, and then I'm going to see what that quarterback market in 2027 is talking about.
Because, Mason Rudolph's been there. but Kenny Pickett came and went. Like, the next quarterback is not on the roster. So, come on, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we'll see.
Figure it out. I would go get Mac Jones. I go get Mac Jones.
All right.
I sign him so that I got something, whether or not. But I think he's under contract with 49ers for one more year. Either way, just go get him.
Yeah.
All right, we got to open up the gym. We're cutting in on the fellas. Sorry, fellas.
It's all good.
Man. I'm always
30 years
happy
ago
to hear about
today.
Mike McCarthy crying.
Yeah, speaking of Mike McCarthy, 30 years ago today, according to CB, Cowboys won their last Super Bowl. Super Bowl 30. 30 years ago.
30 years ago. We were small lads. Lads.
Where does
Also happens to be the last time they made a conference title game.
Jeez. That's depressing.
Well, on that note,
Appreciate it.
see you tomorrow.
See you later. Chip just farting in the elevator and getting off right there. Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line is open, 512-222-9328. And, of course, on the chat there on Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on this Wednesday afternoon as we get closer and closer to the end of the show and the network and all of those things. We appreciate you hanging out with us. It's a good old Wednesday show. And starting off just with a bang there, reminding everybody it's been 30 years since the Cowboys have been truly competitively relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good shout there, CB. I believe the Aggies made at least won a Big 12 title in like 98 or 99, something like that. So a couple extra years for them, but yeah, it's the Cowboys are irrelevant, man. And as much as they want to stay relevant, they never will be until they win something. And I don't even care if it's a Super Bowl. Just get to a Super Bowl. Right? I think.
Look, hey, as a Texans fan, I'm with you. Just get to a Super Bowl. Yeah. Let me enjoy rooting for a team in the Super Bowl. Let me have that.
I was 7 years old when the Cowboys made their last Super Bowl. I'm 38, people. I turned actually I was 8 years old. I turned 39 this year.
Yeah, that's no. It's been a long time of my friend's kid is now like, I don't know my team, and he's kind of liking the Texans some more now too. And he's and so his mom is a huge Cowboys fan. His dad's a Cowboys fan, and so they're trying, but like the mom is like, you got to be a Cowboys fan. And the dad is more or less being like, I love my son enough to not subject him to this. I don't want to make him care that much about the Cowboys because I know what's going to happen. I don't need a crystal ball to say for the next 10 years, they're probably not going to play for anything because Jerry Jones is going to be around. And then after Jerry Jones, it's Stephen Jones. And until they just kind of all step away and bring in some fresh blood and do everything. And now so we talked about it yesterday a little bit. You're hoping that Shoddy is somewhat of this fresh blood to come in and maybe inject something into it that gets you at least closer to the Super Bowl. But it didn't work this year, clearly at all, as a below 500 team. So it wasn't like they were playing out of their minds at any point. Now, the defense was a disaster all year long. And so you go, well, if you fix the defense, can the offense come through? But, we don't know if they're keeping Pickens or not. There has to be all the drama and everything else that goes around it. But this is it's depressing. It's depressing for it. And I get why someone has a kid. You may not go, you have to be a Cowboys fan. You go, yeah, root for whoever the hell you want. Have fun with it. Enjoy football. Don't let it get ruined because you have to because you have to root for this team. And then the fan base is going to tell you that if you're a 12-year-old or 10-year-old who loves your quarterback, that everyone around you will tell you that you're a bad person for liking that person because they're the reason we're bad. Even though this year it was 100% the defense.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the problem with the Tony Romo years, and that's the problem with Dak Prescott. Like, I'm not even a Dak guy. I think he's really overrated, but at the same time, they get way too much hate for the way that those things went, throughout the last, couple, 10, 15 years, whatever it is. I still think that if they had ruled that catch correctly with Dez Bryant against the Packers, that the Cowboys would have won the Super Bowl that year. It is what it is. I think they had a really good shot too. It was again against the Packers and Aaron Rodgers a couple years back. But here we are. Here's an interesting question that I would like to pose to both the chat and to Patrick, though. And I know we're not even close to starting our show sheet yet.
No, we don't. Hey, there's 3 days left. We got senioritis at this point, man.
Yeah, we do. It's like whatever. We'll talk about what we want to talk about. If Jerry Jones had never fired Jimmy Johnson,
yes,
how many Super Bowls do the Cowboys win in the 90s?
I mean, probably one or two more. And here's the thing is, if Jimmy Johnson stays with the Cowboys and just takes over running the Cowboys, like he's the GM, so he stops being coach, but he hires the next coach and he does all that. I mean, hell, we saw Jimmy Johnson came out today and still on the trade, which is one thing I love about Jimmy Johnson was that dude was like, I cheated nonstop. All I did was cheat. And I didn't get caught ever, so it doesn't. But his defending Bill Belichick today was like, yeah, we all did Spygate. It just didn't work. So we didn't keep doing it, but we all spied on other teams. Like, Jimmy, stop giving it all away, man.
Yeah. So they won it in like 92 and 93 and then in 95, right? So three in the first 5 years of the 90s. I think they would have probably won 3 more. Like, I think that they still win that one that they had with Barry Switzer for sure. And then I don't know, like I see a couple more in there because you still had the prime of Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin and all of these dudes. And he got the best out of his team. And once, like, I encourage everybody to go watch that Cowboys Netflix series, the documentary Netflix series that kind of dives into the whole thing. It was unbelievable how much those players hated Barry Switzer and like how little control he had in that organization. I didn't realize that until I watched that show. So, I mean, I think they get at least 6 in the 90s.
I mean, they could, but this is the whole concept. It's not even firing Jimmy. It's if Jerry Jones was a wildly different person who basically said, "Thank you, Jimmy, for winning me titles. You did a great job. Here's all the power you want to keep winning me titles." Because that's all it is. Because the reality was when he walked in and heard Jerry Jones saying, "It was all me. I did everything," and Jimmy Johnson is just a figurehead coach, then it was over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we get Jimmy Johnson's big on respect. He's very, very big on it. And the fact that Jerry Jones had none for him was like, well, now it's over. And then they were able to get one because Jimmy Johnson had put together a really good roster and had them all trained up and ready to go. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really get to see Jimmy Johnson with free agency and going out to pick the players he wants and trying to use Jerry's checkbook to go get those guys in. Like, they could have been a gigantic dynasty in the 90s for sure, like more than they were, if Jerry Jones wasn't Jerry Jones. But unfortunately, Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones. And so he had to make it all about himself. And for the next 30 plus years now, he has made it all about himself. And it is his show. He is the guy. Jerry Jones is the name you think of when you think the Dallas Cowboys. What other franchise do you think of the owner before a player, before a coach? Like, what other franchise? The first name that pops into your head when you think about a franchise, the owner.
I mean, for a while, you could have said maybe. Actually, no, I can't really think of one.
Yeah, and please throw those in the chat if you have some, because I'm just posing the question. I don't have a definitive answer. There may be others. I'm just
like,
as I'm looking at it, I'm going, well, yeah, you think about the Lakers, and Jerry Buss is a huge part of what the Lakers were. But you think about Magic Johnson and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and all these other, and like, you know, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You think about all the legends before you go Jerry Buss.
Yeah. Even with the Mavericks, like you always think of Dirk Nowitzki or Luka instead of Mark Cuban.
Yeah.
I mean, now in terms of teams right now, maybe you could say Robert Kraft.
But I think you think Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, but he's not a current player.
I get that, but still, I'm saying of what you think of when you think of that team, the first thing that pops in your head is not Robert Kraft. It's Tom Brady or Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I'm saying, the first thing that pops into your head is what that thing is. So I think Jerry Buss is pretty close up there, but he had so many great players that I'd probably go with that. Al Davis might be an answer. Davis might be an answer.
That's a good one.
That's a good one that I think you thought of Al Davis before anybody else. But yeah, hear the dog. It's just Jerry Jones. We told you we have senioritis now. We got 3 days left, so we're going. But I think Al Davis is a good.
Al Davis is a good one.
And
my question, or this question here, Randy, are you talking about with the Dolphins or with Miami Hurricanes? Because I mean, he was successful at both. He made the playoffs in 3 of his 4 years with the Dolphins. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he had Dan Marino. It's just, see, I think that the thing with Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys is not only did he have a bunch of killers, like he had Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman and Emmitt Smith and all those dudes on defense, none of which Miami ever really had in numbers like they had him in Dallas. But he had a perfect, like, psychological and character and culture fit with Troy Aikman, where they just fed off of each other and they were the same type of personality and all these different things. And I just don't think Dan Marino was that guy. Plus, he just had way better talent in Dallas. And that probably would have continued to hold over at least for a couple more seasons, I would guess.
And Roy, George Steinbrenner, again, I think you think of other players before him, but it's a good poll. And I mean, it does get you to the fact of all of the names you are naming are people that are no longer with us.
Yeah.
So it should tell Jerry something, that this is a dead breed of what he is. Like, that is no longer a living breed of, man, the owner is the forefront of the franchise. Al Davis, George Steinbrenner, Jerry Buss are all guys that wanted to be in the spotlight as owners. They all did a great job. All of those I mean, Al Davis less than, but we can say George Steinbrenner won a ton, and so did Jerry Buss. And I mean, Al Davis, I mean, comparable to Jerry Jones, because if you take Jimmy Johnson out, then, you know, it is what it is. So that does feel like you sit there and just go, hey, do you notice that no one is doing what you're doing? And that's not a good thing. It's a thing that those people had to be taken out and said, no, you're not allowed to be that guy anymore. I think Mark Cuban was kind of there, but I think you always thought Dirk before him.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of Dallas Mavericks, you think of Dirk Nowitzki and you think of Luka Doncic.
Yeah. I think Mark Cuban wanted to be front facing, but even Mark Cuban is, you know, like he was front facing, but he also was pretty good about putting the players out front.
Yeah. And then he kind of took his hands off a little bit down the stretch before he sold his majority share in the team. So at least he gets credit for that. He made a mistake by doing that, because then Nico Harrison took over and ruined everything. But
no, but then he could spend more money to, you know, get Indiana a national championship. So
yeah, another reason I don't like him.
No, it's just interesting. It's just interesting that, yeah, because it's, you know, yeah, current players wise, I mean, there's nobody remotely close. That Jerry Jones, there's nobody close on the current roster. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, none of the guys are remotely close as like known as Jerry Jones is.
And what's insane about that too is the absolute treasure trove of Hall of Famers and amazing players that have played for the Dallas Cowboys, like from the start until now. And still, Jerry Jones is the only thing you think of when you think of the Dallas Cowboys.
No, I mean, the fact that you don't even think like Staubach and those legends that he was just like, get out. Tom Landry, get out. You know, those guys, you don't even think of those guys. You think of Jerry Jones. So I mean, he's a businessman. He does what he wants to do, which is have a successful business. Unfortunately, success to him is not, even though he'll say that it is more about winning than financials. It's about financials. And he's very good at that. He's very, very good at that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just still an interesting part to start off of why do you think the problem is? Oh, maybe it's because when we think of the Cowboys, the first thing is what did Jerry Jones say and not what are they going to do in the game, or that maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's not the best outline for a team. I mean, we saw the Browns. We talked about them yesterday at the end of the show about them having to do their analytics driven program that nobody wanted to come in because they were making them do essays and questionnaires and personality tests. And then they also kept telling everybody, you have to keep Jim Schwartz as your DC. Then today they hired Todd Monken, and Jim Schwartz immediately says goodbye to everybody and leaves. It just goes, screw this. You don't want me your head coach, I'm out. And so the whole you can't hire a DC thing was complete BS because the Browns apparently didn't talk to Jim Schwartz enough to get him to stay. So just overall, franchise like that are worse run than the Cowboys. But I mean, I couldn't tell you who their owner is right now. It's on my head.
No idea.
Like he's hiding somewhere.
He's just collecting checks. He doesn't care.
He doesn't care. No, I'm good. You stand back. Just keep being a football team, and that's all I need to see. Got a Pro Bowl quarterback there, Todd Monken. You ready to go with Shador and what he's going to take over there? That is a dumpster fire. I don't know. I don't dislike Todd Monken, but that's not the guy I would think, wow, you're going to save our team.
Well, I mean, me either. That's maybe it's just like, all right, let's just get another dude in here. We're tired of waiting, you know?
Well, I get like why you'd look at him and say, okay, if we put him with Jim Schwartz, then we feel kind of good about him running one side of the ball and then Jim Schwartz running the other. And they're both, you know, not prime guys, but they could be there. But again, when you're like, hey, didn't your head coach, didn't you just get John Harbaugh fired in Baltimore with much better players than we have here? Okay. You're welcome. Come on in and be our head coach. I don't quite get that.
Yeah.
It's like a
Doesn't
Cliff
make
Kingsbury.
sense.
It's a Cliff Kingsbury move. Failing upwards. It's a Cliff Kingsbury story.
I don't know how that guy got an NFL head coaching job and how awfully he did there and how he continues to get hired in different places. I just don't know.
Yeah. No, and Hair of the Dog, you're right. The Jets are the other one. The Jets are also horrific. Like, they may be the worst run organization, and that's hard to do in the NFL. Because, like, the Bengals are super cheap. And they're not poorly run. They're just insanely cheap, so they can only do so much. Like, it's like a movie studio that's only ever going to put, like, $3 million into a budget of a movie. You're never going to make a masterpiece. Every once in a while, you may be able to find a gem, is what they did when they made it to the Super Bowl. And then they'll never be able to do it again. And they're just not going to ever be that team. And you kind of know that with the Bengals. And that's why all the players want to get out of there. So like, you can't have a dynasty here because they're not willing to spend the money. But the Browns are pretty awfully run. The Raiders have been awfully run. And that's why they brought in Tom Brady, because they're like, we have no idea what we're doing. And we don't even know how to hire someone who knows what they're doing, because every time we try to do that, we just hire some guy who convinces Mark Davis that he knows, and that guy has no clue what he's doing. And so they hire 7 coaches and have to fire them all. So Vegas has been awful as well. But the Jets are a different level of the stories you hear about their ownership and like how from the top down, where the guy wants to be fully involved, but he's just completely has no clue what he's doing. Like he'd be bad at Madden and on rookie mode. He would be, I don't like this guy. What is it? You know what? This 63 looks pretty good. I mean, does Madden know what the ratings are? You're like, come on, man.
Hey, he's a wide receiver and he's 6'5" and he's got 99 speed, but he's only a 63 overall. I'm still taking him because he's that freak, you know.
I'm still taking him. 7-9-1, Joe, right? 7-9-1.
Yeah, I believe they finished 7-9-1.
Yeah, I don't think they're 8-8-1. I don't think they got there. I think they're slightly below average. But yeah, no, I mean, there's some really poorly run teams out there, and yet still somehow the Browns and Jets get it done. And the Cowboys, I mean, again, this is the first time they've had back-to-back losing seasons in like 20-25 years. So maybe they'll try and figure something out this offseason to get above 500. I mean, I don't think they're going to be great. You add in Harbaugh coming to the Giants, which doesn't feel like a great going forward for them, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough sledding with the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles have hired their OC yet, though, have they?
I thought they were I can't remember. I thought they were in line to hire someone and it didn't work out. I can't remember who, though.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll get somebody. Maybe they'll hire Cliff Kingsbury. I don't know. Did he get hired yet?
I don't think so. I know somebody wanted him really bad. What was it? I think Lamar Jackson wanted him.
Joe, you keep bringing that number up, and it's like, I get it. It's funny, but you know, I don't know that there's a franchise in the NFL that would have given Sam Darnold more than $37.5 million guaranteed.
No, I mean, the Vikings didn't give him that.
Yeah.
And it was a mistake on them. And again, if we want to talk bad contracts, Deshaun Watson is worse. You have to pay your quarterbacks a lot. If you can end up in quarterback purgatory, quarterback hell, the Cowboys were there for several years. I get why they pay their guys.
Let's not forget the Quincy Carter, Clint Sterner, Chad Hutchinson era.
The Houston Texans before Deshaun Watson never had a real quarterback, future franchise quarterback. Matt Schaub was as close as it got. Matt Schaub was cool for a season, and then it started to go downhill. And then you got the pick six every game.
Yeah, Brock Osweiler was in there.
Oh, they traded for Brock Osweiler, who's only on the Broncos because he was John Elway's son's roommate at Arizona State. So stupid. They had to give up a pick to get rid of him in his contract. So Dak Prescott, I mean, again, Dak Prescott was good this season. Dak Prescott was not a problem this season. He was a good quarterback. The defense was terrible. Yeah, when you're playing games that are 41-41 or 40-41, that's not an offensive problem. That is a defensive problem.
Yeah, I found the top 10 worst contracts ahead of this past season. Let's see if Dak Prescott is on here. Got Chase
Joe, I get
Young.
that. Joe, I get. Look, here's the thing. I get you cannot pay Dak Prescott. He will walk away. Someone else would have given that money. You wouldn't have a quarterback, and they would not have won more than 5 games in the last 10 years because they would never get another quarterback. They'd win enough games to never get a top pick. They would just keep doing it for the next. They got extremely lucky with both of those quarterbacks, with Romo and him, to get good enough quarterbacks and then never put a team around them. When Jerry Jones says there's no money, he's lying. There's money. The Eagles have spent 10 times the amount of money that the Cowboys have spent. And that's why they're so much better than the Cowboys. They spend a lot more money than the Cowboys do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott were the 2 worst contracts in the NFL, according to Bleacher Report.
I get it. He got paid too much money. He was going to get it somewhere, though.
Yeah.
That was the reality.
And next year, somebody else who gets paid way more, who's at the same level.
Yeah. No, and he's about out of that contract, and they'll get out of it, and they'll move on, and then hopefully they find their next guy. So it'll be, trying to get there. Hopefully it's not Kyler. Kyler's you don't want the guy that they had to put a provision in his contract to to actually watch film because he just went to play
Provision
video games.
his contract not to play video games.
It's so insane. That's like, I get they're young guys, but to have it be such a problem that they have to put in your contract. Yeah, the Russell Wilson Denver contract was really, really bad because he never even played for them, really. Like, and then you had the Sean Payton thing where they basically told Sean Payton, try and get him to get fired, like try and get him to punch you so we can get out of the contract. There was a whole thing in Denver that they were literally trying to, they were trying to get, Sean Payton was trying to piss him off so bad that he would like physically assault him or do something that could be conduct detrimental to the team. They could get out of his contract. And Russell Wilson, really not the guy that you would think would do that. Of all the NFL players, he's near the bottom of the list of guys that I would think would have a blow up at any point. You'd be like, no, he'd probably just pack up his Louis Vuitton bag and head to the car.
You remember that that LeBron James press conference where he's like, be better, and then he like packs up his little Louis Vuitton bag and gets up with the sunglasses on and trots out the door. That's how I would imagine Russell Wilson would act in that situation.
Yes, exactly how that would happen. Matt, on the show today, do want to get into a little bit more SEC talk about looking forward to next year. We'll talk some Texas and Auburn, some more NFL talk as well. If we get to the awards today, we'll have time. We'll get to that today. A lot of awards finalists were announced a week or so ago. We have not decided who we have not gone through them and thought of who deserves them and who doesn't. I would assume they're not huge fans of Russell Wilson up there, CB. He just doesn't seem like the most likable guy unless he's winning. Like if he's winning, then you get in there. But the whole Danger Witch, the Subway commercials that he was doing, that were so bad. And he just seems so like he's one of those guys who's trying to be in on the joke about himself, but he doesn't get it. And you can tell he doesn't get the joke, but he's trying to be in on it still. And he's like, yeah, man, guys, no, I get it, man. My shoes are weird. And you're like, that's not, we're making fun of you because you're wearing nice shoes, but that's not what we're not saying they're weird. You're weird.
Hey, let's stop hating on Mr. Unlimited.
Was it Broncos Country? Let's Ride. Is that the one?
Yes. Here's another debate that we don't necessarily have to get into.
No, go for
it. If there was an award for the most cringeworthy player in the NFL, like you're having the Oscars, and the one of the awards is here are the nominees for the most cringeworthy players in the NFL. I think that Russell Wilson would at least be a nominee. Right? Like it'd be him.
Yeah, I mean,
Shedeur Sanders, Tyreek Hill, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm trying to be on that list.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, who are the most cringeworthy players? That Aaron Rodgers is kind of up there. I don't think he was as bad this year. I think he kind of kept it a little bit calmer this year.
Maybe
I'm
Fernando
trying to think
Mendoza once he gets in there.
I'm trying to think of who is the one that had.
Oh Caleb Williams. Yeah,
Caleb is out there. I'm trying to think of who really had the interviews where I was like, dude, just shut up, And I don't know who's the ones that were doing that. Yeah, primetime always has his moments. By the way, the whole Bill Belichick thing is a lot primetime's doing. Because he led the charge of people saying there's too many not great players in the Hall of Fame. We need to make it harder to get in. So they changed the voting and everything to get in. And so now Bill Belichick doesn't get in on the first ballot. He would have before. But because they bitched and moaned too much that a few people were going to get in that they don't want to have dinner with at the Hall of Fame ceremony because they have to be gatekeepers of how great they were because their prime of their life was for 6 years when they were 27 to 33. And they will never equal up to that ever again in anything they ever do, then they have to be assholes and make it not fun for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Just all those guys. So I don't think that's everybody in the Hall of Fame. I think there's some great Hall of Famers. And then there's the ones that are still like it matters too much. Like, let it go, man. Let it go. It's okay. Let people have fun with sports. It's sports. It's supposed to be fun.
It is supposed to be fun.
Anytime when people get out of it that they're like, we're adults and we have to make sports too real for kids, and then you're like, it is like they're games at a point, so we should let kids have fun with it and not try and ruin this for kids. It's kind of because the only reason we love it is because we're just being kids watching it. It's what we like about it. So it's frustrating times. It's frustrating at times.
Travis Kelce would probably be on that list, by the way. Of
Yeah.
worthy players.
Yeah. Travis Kelce's got to be on that list for sure.
For Mahomes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, the Chiefs, those two kind of go in as a pair.
Mhm.
For sure on that list. I got to keep thinking about it. I feel like there's somebody that's like out there that we probably played for Meathead plenty of times. And it's just.
There's that guy that was the running back for the Saints at one point. I can't remember what his name is. I'd have to go back and look.
Jamal Williams.
It might have been Jamal Williams, yeah, where he's just like all about anime and cats. And he's like, I just want to get home to my cats. I don't even know why I'm here. I need to get home to my cats. They miss me. Like that guy might be up there.
Yes. He's the guy he's really into anime and stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Joe, I don't know if their plan is to retain Aaron Rodgers. My guess is they want to because they don't have anybody else there. But from everything I've read, they really like Mike McCarthy to groom their next quarterback. They like him to be somebody that helps out young quarterbacks get better and better and kind of helps them in the league. That's one of the reasons they got him was to get their next quarterback and get him ready. So I don't know how much they want to go again with Aaron Rodgers. They may genuinely just go, we need to be bad for a year. Don't bring back Aaron Rodgers. Let TJ Watt heal for a season and just screw it for a year.
And then we'll draft
number
Arch
one
Manning.
pick, and we'll try and get Arch Manning, or if Chambliss is up there again, is number 2 pick, or somebody that's one of those top guys. Try and get them to come in.
Yeah, I agree, CB, but he's not in the NFL. If it was college football,
Dylan Raiola, 100%.
Dylan Raiola, 100%.
Well, because Patrick Mahomes is it has to be him by proxy. It has to be the college version that's in there. Matt, did you get to watch any of the East-West Shrine Bowl last night?
I did not. I didn't even realize it was on. I thought it was this weekend. I didn't realize they would have a football game on a Tuesday.
They did at the Frisco Star. Then they had the Senior Bowl. 3 Longhorns were in the East-West Shrine Bowl. In Ethan Burke, Jalen Gilbo, and DJ Campbell. Campbell looked all right. Burke and Gilbo looked all right. Both Gilbo and Burke had a tackle. It was not necessarily a game that was amazing under any aspects. So it's the Senior Bowl is the bigger one that we know. That one is Saturday. That one. So we're getting the workout reports and stuff from that. Jack Indries was supposed to be in this game and was going to be one of the ones who was standing out in practice. And then apparently he re-aggravated something that is not a major injury or anything, but they were like, we want to be fully healthy for the combine, so we don't want to risk hurting it anymore. So Jack Indries did not end up playing in the game as well. So you got Gilbo and Burke, who were just not necessarily like, that game is not necessarily set up for what their skill is. Because Burke's not like an explosive, like Burke had huge plays for Texas, but that was because guys were running away from Colin Simmons. And so he was able to make some really big plays. But I don't know if his game plan, like he's not where in the Senior Bowl you're getting Reuben Bain. And a guy like that where you're like, oh, let's see what he does against some of these offensive linemen. So it'll be interesting to see. The Senior Bowl will be there. The East and West Shrine Bowl, I forgot it was on it to start because I thought it was today. I knew it was this week. I just thought it was today, not yesterday. And so I caught the second half of it, but I wasn't expecting it to be on a Tuesday. And I was like, oh, well, we'll put on the show on Wednesday. And then I was, oh, it's happening right now. The fact they did it Frisco Star, the fact it is clearly the smaller one. If you go back in the archives and watch all the time with Drew and the on Chip and Zay with the Senior Bowl director who comes on, you can hear the difference of like how hard it is to put these bowl games together because they just cost a lot of money to do. because you're talking about flying in all these kids and hotels and everything else. And I don't think they have the sponsorships to make it as competitive as the Senior Bowl does, that has some better sponsorships for them. So it'll be the bigger one. But we did see Ethan Burke, Jalen Gilbo, and DJ Lagway all play, or DJ Campbell, sorry, all play last night in the East West Shrine Bowl. Jack Indry's not there, went home early because of lingering issues. So he's trying to get healthy. Because Indry's going to be one of your higher draft picks in this year's draft. Could be a day 2 guy for a lot of people. So he's going to be able to be another Longhorn draft pick that Texas can brag about. And the NFL, the NFL Network is behind the East West Shrine Bowl. The NFL is more behind the Senior Bowl. But they're both places. I know that the Cowboys were more interested in the Senior Bowl workouts than even really the Shrine Bowl, and it was at the Frisco Star. So should tell you what you need to know about which one has more prospects that are really high-level prospects.
Yeah. Michael Taff is playing in the Senior Bowl this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, there's several more in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, the Senior Bowl is going to be fun to watch. I don't think I've ever actually watched an East West Shrine Bowl. It's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like the almost like, and this is no disrespect to DJ Campbell or Jalen Gilbo or Ethan Burke. They were all great players at Texas, and I like each and every one of them very much. But it kind of seems like the NBA G League All-Star game as opposed to the Senior Bowl, which is like the real All-Star game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you get Taff and Muhammad in the Senior Bowl, so it'll be fun to watch both of those guys go out there and play for Texas in the Senior Bowl. But I want to get into this with you. I tried, Matt, again, to not put anything on the portal updates because I was hoping that we would be able to, get another big signing since it worked yesterday. I may have to put it back on for Thursday and then take it off for Friday.
Yeah, that might be the move.
We can get it back in and see if we get something. No, Drew may be on tomorrow. I don't know if he'd be on tomorrow or not. I know he is. I have not talked to Chip about it. So if he said he won't be on, too busy, I get that as well. Yeah, the game is this week. I would understand why Drew would be busy this week. That makes very good sense.
At some point this week, we should have a full depth chart, like 2026 depth chart projection thing. Because I went through today and I made an entire depth chart for the whole football team
for Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Not for Texas Tech or I'm just making sure.
No,
when I asked the question, I was like, I don't know what team I think he would
team.
I don't know what team I thought he meant in that if it wasn't Texas, as I'm asking the question. I did want to hit some. We talked yesterday about ranking the SEC quarterbacks, and I kind of want to do that about some other rooms for the SEC, but we're not going to be able to go 16-1 because these rooms are not as set as depth charts and everything else for all 16 teams in the SEC. So it gets a little bit harder. We talk running back room and wide receiver room. So the real part is I wanted to go, where is Texas sit in these rooms in the SEC to make it a little bit easier on us that we can go and say, who are the really top level guys, and then kind of go down and go, where does Texas fit? Who's around Texas? Who's in the conversation for these top rooms? And let's start out running back, because the Texas running back room is by far the most interesting offseason room in the SEC. There wasn't a ton of movement outside of Texas. Like, there wasn't a lot of really big names in coming in either into other programs or out of other programs. And Texas had everyone leave and probably the two biggest names coming to the SEC land there at running back as well. So it makes you believe that there's an interesting story to happen there. It still feels like they're a running back short. I think they're probably still got to be looking to maybe add one more. Maybe not, you're not getting a 5-star, but you may be able to get a 2 or 3-star guy a 3-star guy that you feel okay about, especially a big body guy. There's still some out there that you may be able to add, or a grad transfer you may be able to add in there at some other point to give you a little bit more depth in that room. But I think you feel pretty good about the running back room overall and some of the guys. So, Matt, who do you put with some really big names returning in the rushing for the SEC? You get a lot of names returning, like Ahmad Hardy and Lacey and Jaden Ball and Deshaun Bishop are all returning. So you get 4 returning 1,000-yard rushers last season. And, I mean, I feel like you're getting some of these guys back into big rooms. You get some new good recruits. Who are you putting at the top of this list, and where do we start to fall kind of at your top rankings?
I think that Ole Miss is probably at the top because they are bringing back Kawan Lacey, and they also got Mekhi Frazier out of the portal. So that's right off the bat. That's a really good 1-2 punch. Plus there's a lot of other talent in that room too. So they're probably up there. I think that Texas is a top 3 running back room in the SEC. I really do. That 1-2 punch with Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown is really, really good. It's going to be hard to, find someone anywhere in the country that's more productive than Ahmad Hardy. But, you could put a couple of different teams up there. I still really like Georgia's room with Frazier, and that other big kid they had there that I was hoping would enter the portal. I bet Texas would have scooped him up.
Is it Chauncey Bowens?
Yeah, Chauncey Bowens. I think that those are probably 3 of your top 4. I hesitate to put Texas A&M in there because I think they've got 2 really top end back, like 2 talented backs at the top with Jamarian Morrow and Reuben Owens, and they're bringing in KJ Edwards, who Texas really liked a lot, who's kind of a Jahmyr Gibbs type player, like not Jahmyr Gibbs, but same kind of skill set and things that he does well. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the top 2 backs in the room, I think Texas is at least in the top 3 or 4.
Yeah, and that's this is where it gets hard to judge. And, normally we would do this a little bit later in the offseason and and be able to have a better idea of who's going to be able to come in, and maybe through spring ball have a better idea of what the rooms actually look like. For Texas, it's kind of, you're not quite sure what the entire room looks like right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you have 2 really electric, exciting running backs in Brown and Smothers. And then after that, you're not sure if you have anybody who can really play. Just because you don't know if they're ready to play yet. Like, we don't know if Michael Terry is ready to be a, 50 carry guy this season, or Cooper is ready to be a 50 carry guy this season.
Yeah.
So,
and Michael Terry could still end up at wide receiver.
Yeah, he could 100%. And so you're just not quite sure who's going to take that third back area of, I think we want Cooper to be really good, but again, it's just getting ready to go into the SEC and be ready as a true freshman. I've always been more on the side of not overselling true freshman recruits, because I get they're really, really talented players, but the jump up from high school to the SEC is it's a lot. And so some players can jump it, some players, and Cooper is a little bit better built than some of the other younger running backs that you would normally get. But what they're going to want out of him it's just difficult. It's just really, really difficult. So as much as I'd love Cooper to be able to step in and be able to be a guy for you, like, who's running against Ohio State? Is Cooper really ready week 2 to, if you need 3 yards to come in the game? And that's kind of my question for the Texas room, is I think when you look at Missouri or Ole Miss or Florida or even Tennessee, maybe even Auburn and Georgia, who you put in those situations on 3rd and 2. And I don't know if you know that for Texas right now. of who your guy is at 3rd and 2. And maybe it is, well, we're throwing the ball on 3rd and 2 and it's Arch running. So we don't need that running back because we have Arch and he's going to be able to do it. But that to me is the bigger question about this running back room for Texas is what's the real versatility of that room in the SEC once, like they can do a lot of things that other running backs can't. But can they do the bread and butter, old school, this is how you win games in the SEC?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to do that. Simply because you don't have at least for what we know right now, you don't have the power back dude who you can just put in on 3rd and short and get you a few yards. I think that given the offensive line upgrades that they now have and given the type of rushing attack that I think they're going to deploy next year, I think they're going to be just fine there and have one of the better rooms in the SEC. One of the ones that I forgot to mention was Alabama. They're bringing in Justice Haynes. They're getting Xavier Crowell, the true freshman, who is widely regarded as easily the best running back in the country to a lot of people, and who should be able to step up from day one and be a contributor. Like he's one of those few true freshmen that people feel can do it from day one. And I think they still have Daniel Hill. I can't remember if he entered the portal or not, but that's a pretty good top 2 there.
Justice Haynes went to Georgia Tech, right?
Did he? I thought he went to Alabama.
No, he went to Georgia Tech.
Wow. Okay. Well, then disregard what I just said. I could have sworn he went to Alabama. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. But anyway, regardless, we have senioritis, Patrick. It doesn't matter. Regardless, Texas doesn't have the big prototypical 215, 220 pound running back that, you know, people feel will be good in between the tackles. I still think Michael Terry could be it. I still think Derek Cooper could develop into it. We just don't know yet. And that's the issue.
Yeah. And Mike, I agree. I don't think you have to be that. But I think if you want to win a national championship, you should be good at as many things as you possibly can. And that's kind of the line is we could be a really good team and not have that guy, but we've had those issues before where if we had a red zone offense, we may already be celebrating a national championship in the last 3 or 4 years. And we just haven't had any red zone offense. And I think our red zone offense gets better with some other additions, but still not being able to just run the football effectively in short yardage has been a kind of a crux of Sark's run at Texas, that they just haven't been able to be that team yet. And it would be fun if we could do that. If we just felt pretty good about running for 3 or 4 yards and then breaking some big plays out of that. So I don't think you have to, but and that's, I think we all hope is that Cooper, through the end of next year and then into his sophomore year starts to be a little bit more physical of a runner and becomes that guy that we look at and go, oh, he can be that guy. But since we've had Bijan Roschon, I don't think we've had that. Like that real guy that we can run downhill and go, it doesn't matter. We can go pick up 3 yards. We want 3 yards. And we haven't really had that. And maybe it's Arch. I mean, it's the reality is you're kind of looking at it and going, all right, well, Arch is a big boy and he can get to the outside if he needs to. So hopefully he can do it. We can get those guys that get a couple of a first and second down, 1-2 yards. So we look there at the running back rooms. Let's look at the wide receiver rooms where Texas did also, you did lose Parker Livingston. You lost DeAndre Moore, but of course you add in the huge piece of Cam Coleman, bring in the number 1 wide receiver in the transfer portal. Then you add in throwing in there the young talent that was already on the roster, Emmett Mosley, to come back and have a great season. I think you feel really good about that wide receiver room. We know LSU went very heavy in the transfer portal, adding Eugene Wilson, J.C. Brown, Winston Watkins, Trey Brown, Jackson Harris, Nick Anderson. They brought in they lost Nick Anderson, but they brought in Jackson Harris. They brought in a ton of wide receivers there to Lane Kiffin's staff. A lot of other teams kind of went heavy in the transfer portal as well. We know Horton ends up in A&M from Alabama. Alabama still does have Ryan Williams, but they lose Jeremy Bernard to the NFL. They lose Horton, so they have to kind of rebuild that wide receiver room as well. Who are some of your top wide receiver rooms in the SEC, Matt?
I mean, I think that LSU is up there. Winston Watkins is one that I really like for them a lot. Eugene Wilson is really good. They also got Jace Brown. There's a lot of talent in that room. They're not my number one, though. I think that probably my top two. Let me just make sure before I get something wrong again. I think that my top two, yeah. I think that you have to put Florida and Texas as probably your top two. Florida has Dallas Wilson coming back. They have Vernell Brown III, and they also signed Eric Singleton. So that's a really good group of three there that's going to be really hard to deal with. And then Texas with Ryan Wingo, Cam Coleman, and Emmett Mosley. It is probably, for my money, number one, but those two are probably your best couple. Here's the thing. I think if you break it down by overall depth and talent, like from top to bottom, all of the players on the depth chart, I think that LSU probably sneaks up there a little bit higher. But if you're going your best three guys that are starting on the field, then I think it's Texas, and then I think it's Florida, and then I think Texas A&M is somewhere up there in the top five with Isaiah Horton and Mario Craver and Ashton Bethel Roman. I'd have to look and see who's Georgia's bringing back, because they had a really good one last year. Yeah, I mean, they'll be okay. They losing Noah Thomas and Branch, Zachariah Branch, is going to be an issue for them. But
they brought in Isaiah Canyon from Georgia Tech as well.
Yeah, who's pretty good player. Ole Miss is going to be up there with Goose Alexander and Caleb Cunningham. They brought in Darryl Gill, who's out of Syracuse, who's a really good player. Let's see who else they brought in. I know there was another one outside of Jonte Cook I'm talking about, of course. His name is escaping me right now, but God, they signed a ton of players. Holy cow. Anyway, like Isaiah Spencer out of Virginia Tech, that was the other one I was thinking of. So they're kind of up there. I think that, your top five are probably Florida, in no particular order, are Florida, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and probably Texas A&M.
And look, I'll give an honorable mention to Oklahoma. They keep Isaiah Satania, who's really good, bringing Trell Harris and Parker Livingston. So I think they have a good room right now. I don't know if they're top five, but I think they're a pretty decent room, because Satania is a hell of a wide receiver.
Yeah,
I get you got to get John Mateer to get it to you, but Satania is really good.
Yeah, I mean, Parker Livingston's your number two wide receiver, probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, be number two, number three. They brought in Trell Harris as well. Who's another good wide receiver. So they'll have some decent players on this roster. Brought in Trell Harris from Virginia as well, and a couple other guys that they brought in a little bit lower on the depth chart. But yeah, I mean, I by the way, I did not realize. It did not occur to me that Brennan Thompson led the SEC in receiving yards last year.
I would not have guessed that.
No, would not have guessed that Brennan Thompson, with 1,054, led receiving in 2025 for the SEC. It's just surprising. There was 2,000-yard receivers. One was Brennan Thompson. The other was Chris Brazel from Tennessee. We are 2,000-yard receivers in the SEC last season. Yeah, I mean, I think there's, and yes, they just threw it a ton. But yeah, hats off to Brennan Thompson, though, because Brennan Thompson, for leaving Texas and believing in himself, led the SEC in receiving, and I would not have ever guessed that when Brennan Thompson left Texas, that he would one day lead the SEC in receiving yards. So, but yeah, where we get out of it, this is a room for Texas in the wide receiver room that I do think is near the top, because you look at top end talent and roll in there with Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo as your two outside guys is as good as anyone in college football. And then you go down from that and you have to say, all right, who's after the fact of Ryan Wingo? And I mean, like, you're up there close to where Ohio State has been in years past. I don't think you're at where Ohio State has been in the past with their having 3 guys that are all NFL first round picks, but you now are 2 first round picks out there. Emmett Mosley, who's supposed, who we look to be much better next season. And then you throw in the fact of some young guys that you're really, really excited about, that if one of them steps up, like especially if you get a Jermaine Bishop to make an impact by mid-season, to be anywhere close. Like, I know he's not Malachi Toney, because you don't expect that completely, because it's not going to get the reps.
Mm-hmm.
When you have Cam Coleman, you don't expect a guy to be your 3rd wide receiver, 4th wide receiver and be that good. But I think you do add Jermaine Bishop in as somebody to go, well, if you just add in a guy that comes in and as a true freshman, everyone has to look at, while you have Cam Coleman and Ryan Wingo both on the field, it's going to make it extremely hard for anybody to figure out what to do on this defense. And then if Nick Townsend can catch the ball, then it's too many options with Hollywood Smothers, Raleek Brown in the backfield, with, a Masunis maybe on the other side of the ball who can dip out and make you stay true. All that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know how I would rank the tight end rooms in the SEC, because that one's a little bit harder to dig for. But I think Texas is certainly going to be up there. Maybe the best, maybe one of the top 3 or 4. It's definitely the most balanced, though, in my opinion, with a Nick Townsend who's more of a Jatavion Sanders type, athlete pass catcher on one side, and then the mauling blocker on the other side, who's still pretty good catching the football when he gets the ball thrown to him. So I don't know where Sooner Cowboys is, Joe. I really don't. But yeah, I mean, tight end room's a little bit harder for me. But didn't Oklahoma get Hayden Hurst out of Florida? I want to say somebody got Hayden Hurst.
Yes. No.
Who got Hayden Hurst?
Are we saying the right name?
The guy from Florida.
Hayden Hansen.
Hayden Hansen. Sorry.
Yes, they did get Hayden Hansen. There we go. Yes, the tight end out of there, Hayden Hansen. Hayden Hurst plays in the NFL. That's what it was like.
That's
yeah.
I get those two mixed up.
No, Hayden Hansen did end up there. They're also now they have Jason Witten, and he's got a 5-star son that is coming out, I think in 2027, maybe 2026, 2027. That they have a 5-star tight end as well. That they're in the inside track now. Unless he doesn't want to play where his dad is, then he could just go to Tennessee where his dad played. Say, I don't care where my dad's coaching. Care about what I was raised with. That was a Tennessee thing. Let's take a break real quick, Matt. When we come back, let's get into Texas basketball playing Auburn tonight. I want to do some NFL talk, and we got senioritis, so whatever you guys want to talk about in the chat as well. Love chopping it up with you guys here on a Wednesday afternoon. 3 days left, 2.5 now. 2.5 days left to show for us here. So we love to chat with you some while we can here. We'll take our first break, come back in 2.5 minutes, and get an hour or two here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed, untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street. Hold the door for people behind us. Tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics. But more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
Welcome back in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered as we roll on 2.5 days left now of Open Gym here on Texas, or 2.5 days left to Texas Sports Unfiltered, not just Open Gym. We really do appreciate you hanging out with us and all of our sponsors and everybody. It's kept Texas Sports Unfiltered alive for the last 3 years. Myself, Pat Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan, from Texas Longhorns on SI. And of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line is open, 512-222-9328. And over there on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. I finally got the number memorized, Matt. Whenever you get the text line numbers memorized, it's bad news. It's time to shut her down to get it memorized. We just talked a lot about Texas football and the SEC. If you guys want to have anything else to talk about, throw those in the chat, throw those in the text line. Love hanging out with you guys and chatting with you here on a Wednesday afternoon. And want to get into a little Texas basketball here. We'll get into a little NFL in a minute as well. But Texas basketball has been playing better, Matt. Things are not the doom and gloom that I thought could have been when this team was not playing with any real passion. Did not seem that they had any game plan, what to go in with. No one really seemed to know their roles in January to start. And somehow the ship has been turned around and righted a little bit faster than I thought it would have been. And they're playing better basketball. Now they've got to take that show on the road to Auburn tonight, facing an Auburn team that is won 3 straight, including a win over Florida this weekend. So they have beaten Ole Miss, they beat South Carolina, they beat Florida. So they've been playing pretty good basketball as they start to figure it out after Bruce Pearl stepped down and his son took over. Anytime those things happen, there is a bit of a regime change, even though they tried to keep it all in the family and tried to keep it to be, not allow it to get too out of a place. And there's still going to be a place where you're not going to get necessarily all the recruits or transfers or everybody else. You got to earn that a little bit more. So we are getting what we're getting now. And Texas right now is an underdog, a 6.5 point underdog in this game. Keyshawn Hall is a really fun, exciting player to watch. 6'7" senior transfer that came in. He knows how to play the game of basketball. One of those guys who can hit a couple threes but doesn't need to take a lot. That's one of the things Auburn has is in similarity with Texas in a game where so many teams now are really analytics based and three-pointers are in under the basket. Not necessarily the case for Auburn. They can shoot mid-range. They can score in a number of different ways. They do attack the basket well as well. So this is somewhat of a different defensive game plan that Texas is going to have to bring up. Auburn started to pick up their defense more. That is why they've had this 3-game win streak. So for Texas, this is a bit of a game of two teams that are maybe not the most talented teams out there. I think Auburn may have it on a slight edge, but if Dalen Swain's playing great and Tremont Mark's playing great, it changes that ability and that talent level for Texas a little bit back. Keyshawn Hall is going to be the best player in the game. But you have certain guys like Keyshawn Murphy is somebody that you look at in this game and say, if he gets to be able to play a better game and gets going a little bit more where he struggled a little bit, he is their 6'10" senior, 230. If him and Modest is a huge matchup in this game, what they're going to be able to do. But yeah, it kind of comes down to, can you stay out of foul trouble? And can you get the ball to Modest when the offense starts to break down a little bit? So when you're not getting wide open shots, are you able to get the ball down to Modest, him score a couple points, make them collapse on him a little bit more, and give you some space in Dalen Swain and Tremont Mark to run that offense through? Because we're seeing more and more, you got to run that offense through Tremont Mark, through Dalen Swain. And if those two guys are kind of leading you, they're going to be magnets. And that'll let Jordan Pope get easier shots. That'll let Cam Heide get easier shots. And hell, it'll let Modest Voikatitis be able to get under the basket more because those defenders are now going to be trying to help on the drives, coming out on Tremont Mark, coming out on Dalen Swain, trying to block shots. So it gets Modest a little bit better positioning, and you're able to get going. So this doesn't feel like you're going to get run out of the gym by Auburn. They're not necessarily the most explosive scoring team you've played, but they can be consistent. So you have to be able to consistently go down and play good basketball. It's on the road. If you can't shoot well, Texas has had a lot of problems this season when they're not shooting well. So, I mean, this is kind of the standard for Texas so far. If you're able to get a couple guys, if Tremont Mark and Dalen Swain are both able to be around 20 points, you feel a lot better about what they're going to be able to do this season. If we're having to rely on Jordan Pope to get hot or Cam Heide to get hot or, somebody else, Modest Voikatitis to get hot, it just becomes really hard to win. There's not a ton of ways for Texas to win games, and they've done a good job of doing it the ways they can. I think Auburn probably has a couple more ways to win this game. I think 6.5, though, may be a little large for what you would expect. I wouldn't think that this would be a 6.5 point game. I think this would be a little bit less, but I guess home court, they're going to give them more of a slide on that one.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I always hesitate, even when Texas has been playing well in their last few games. I always hesitate to get too confident in what they can do just because they're so dependent on Dalen Swain and Tremont Mark having big games and being able to, execute the game plan that Sean Miller, has for them in terms of getting the other team out of their rhythm and out of their comfortability. But if they can do all of those things, then I think they can beat almost anybody in the SEC. We'll have to see if they're able to pull that off on the road. It is on the road?
Yeah, it's
so we'll have to see if they can pull that off on the road. Dalen Swain seems hot and Tremont Mark seems hot. And if you can get a big game from Jordan Pope, you're feeling even better about it. But yeah, I mean, 6.5 probably feels a little big. I even if it was somewhere like 4.5 or 3.5 or something like that. I think Texas probably loses a close one. But then again, they just went in and blew out Georgia at the Moody Center by 20, which I also did not expect. So it could go either way.
Yeah, and this is a game of do not shoot yourself out of it. Don't take bad threes. They're going to let you take bad threes. They're going to put you in positions to take bad threes where you're a little bit back off the line, where you're not where you want to be. And so if they're running you off the line, great. But one of the things they did well against Florida was make them shoot poorly from three. And again, all these teams don't want to go inside. That's where Tremont Mark shines. Dalen Swain's been good at that as well. If you can go inside and continue to score, not let them get out on fast breaks, not let them get out on transition baskets, and you can stay in these games. That's one thing Sean Miller's team has done well for most of the season, is not allow big runs. They've been able to at least play good on one side of the ball for most of the game, and that's going to help them out in a game like this as well, where you're going to want to see a Texas team put it together and just put together 40 minutes. It's hard. These road games are tough because, again, you're just not getting the rest you want for your players. You don't have the depth in your roster right now, but you should be able to go in there. Modest, this is a big game for him. If he can go in there and play well against Murphy and, defensively not get in foul trouble, then this will be a moment where he can get 15 to 20 and, help Texas compete in this game. If he fouls and gets in foul trouble early, it's the margin for error for Texas all season is just going to be this. Like, there's not going to be a point where you can sit down and watch a Texas game and go, oh, that's fine, he got an early foul trouble. Or, oh, he missed the first, we're down 8 or 10. There's always that margin of error is just going to be real slim. But we saw Sean Miller's speech at halftime last game against Georgia, apparently got everybody fired up. So let's see what he can do this time, at the beginning of the game, at halftime, to keep those guys going. Because, yeah, this is for Texas, they're going to be on that bubble all season, but it's, can you start to put together wins? Can you start to really make a run to get yourself a little bit of buffer, or is all season going to be, well, they're on the back end, well, maybe they can get back into it. They haven't won 3 games straight since the beginning of the season. They won 4 games. They start off with a loss to Duke, then they won 4 straight. They haven't ever won more than that back-to-back. They're at a 1-game win right now. You have to win Auburn, Oklahoma. If you can win both of those games on the road, going back to Austin at the end of the month, at the beginning of February, with 2 more wins and have a 3-game win streak, all of a sudden you feel so much more weight lifted off your shoulders and you can start to play a little bit more. You lose both these games, and yeah, you're just sticking on consistency has to be there, and winning 3 games in a row is a big piece of that. And, I think this team can do that now. I wouldn't have said that a month ago, or, even earlier this month. I wouldn't have said I believe that they could win that, but the SEC is wide open. And if you win this one tonight, you have 100%, you got a chance to beat Oklahoma. And then, now we're talking about being able to play decent basketball. I think you're muted there, Matt.
Is that working now?
Yes.
Okay. I think this one is huge as well. In terms of, like, you want to continue your momentum and you want to get a win over a team who is, in the top half of the SEC. Auburn, I think, is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th in the SEC right now. The good news after that, though, is, your next, you get Oklahoma, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Missouri, and LSU all in a row. And those are bottom half SEC teams, each of which you should be able to beat. So this team, if they can beat Auburn and they can, string a couple of these wins together, they could theoretically win, 4 of their next 5 or 5 of their next 6 or somewhere in there. I mean, LSU and Oklahoma and South Carolina and Ole Miss are all in the bottom 5 of the SEC. So, you got a pretty big opportunity in front of here to get your wins that you need to get closer to that magical 19-20 win mark, and you want to avoid bad losses as well. But this stretch right now, I think, is probably going to make or break the Texas basketball season. Honestly, like, you should win almost all of these games, and if you kind of half and half it, I think you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah. And Joe, it is always that point. The main funny point is when people are like, how are we ranked like 36, 40th in KenPom and can't be the top 68 teams? And you're like, there's auto bids. There's auto bids is kind of the problem, is auto bids are going to take away a lot of your spaces. But
auto bids, man.
But here's the thing. It's fine, because if you're the 40th best team in the country, I'm not going to be really crying a river that you didn't make it in as if you're the 40th best team in the country.
You don't think that Texas could be this year's George Mason?
No, because they're Texas. I think Texas can beat Texas, and that's but like and so I get it. If you're talking about a 20 team thing and you're like, oh, teams, we have 5 auto bids or 10 auto bids and it's 10 like nobodies and 10 good teams, then you'd be like, yeah, that is ridiculous. But the fact that you could not be ranked all season long and then be like, we didn't make the tournament. You weren't ranked once all season. You don't get to say we have a clear shot for the national championship. If we were not, we are never in a place. Again, you have not won back-to-back games since the beginning of the season. Or sorry, 3 games in a row since the beginning of the season. You have to be able to put some of that together. So it's what makes it fun is those first round games. It makes it a little bit more fair that you have, these top teams are not having to play like actual good games in week 1 of the tournament. If you get knocked off, it becomes hilarious and fun for the automatic qualifiers. Matt, want to get into a little NFL talk with you. These are some we put off here for. Oh, go ahead.
Just real quick, did we rank the SEC offensive line rooms?
We did not, but I couldn't do that, so I have not done the research into that. I was leaving that. We may do it tomorrow.
Okay. I put together a whole list for that because there's actually one. We'll tease it for tomorrow. There's actually one really surprising team that I have like in the top 2, which will be interesting.
Okay. I hadn't done the research on it yet, so I didn't put it on today to look at where everybody else and who's got lined up something to go. So I was thinking about that one for tomorrow, maybe that and top defenses as well in the SEC. But I wanted to get into a little NFL. About the voting. The finalists were announced last week for the finalists for MVP, a bunch of other awards. I wanted to go through these, Matt, and get your opinion. I'd love to hear you guys on the chat, on the text as well, opinion of these awards and who you think should win them. If you think someone got left off, if you think there was a wrong name on there, let me know. We'll start off at the bottom and work our way up because I know what the answer is to MVP. We know what Matt's going to say. He is a big Drake May guy. We know that. But we'll start off with the assistant coach of the year. The assistant coach of the year, a couple of names of guys who, some of which are really sought after. I don't think any of them are moving. I think all of them are staying where they're at, except for possibly one of them still could get out of there. And yeah, CB, Eli Manning didn't get in the Hall of Fame either. Again, they made the rules harder to get in. Like, they made the voting much harder to get in. They changed what the rules were because people bitched and moaned about it. And by people, I mean like 7 people got upset about it. And so they changed it, and they made it too stringent and too tight, and no one knew how to vote right. And so you get up and Eli shouldn't be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's fine to be a Hall of Famer. He's not a first ballot guy. But he's a Hall of Famer. So, and Bill Belichick will be a Hall of Famer. I do love the argument, Matt, that I've seen people, they go, Bill Belichick should tell the Hall of Fame he doesn't even want to be in it anymore. And it's such a sacrilege. You're like, well, they're not going to change it. So does he not want to be in? Because my guess is he really, really wants to be in. And honestly, this is possibly the best thing that could have happened. Because he has had 0 good press in like 3 years. Everything has been negative for 3 years. And now Bill Belichick has everyone coming out to defend him and call him the greatest. It feels like this is better because if he would have just gotten in, people would have been like, yeah, he's first ballot, but he sucks at college. He sucked after Tom Brady. I feel like the argument would have been way different if he had just got voted in. But now that you're hearing the other side of it and everyone's like, this is crazy, it feels like he is getting the best possible thing for him, which is people saying how good he was of a coach.
I think all of that is super annoying, honestly. Like, I get that he has a resume that any NFL head coach would love to have. It's a legendary resume. I just don't think that it's like sacrilegious not to let him be a first ballot Hall of Famer, like so many of these people that I've seen on Twitter and stuff. Sure, like he did a lot of good stuff. Tom Brady is the reason for all of it. All of it.
I mean, I think that
if he had Dak Prescott as his quarterback through that stretch, they wouldn't have won a single Super Bowl.
Well, no, but I also think that he did help win a Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. You know, calls a great defense, gets the interception, defense wins that game. So I get it.
Was that a bad play call?
It was that but you have to make the best of it, because if it's incomplete, they get another play.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't think there's much argument about it. I'm also not the same person who was like, they're letting too many people into the Hall of Fame. Oh my God, what are we going to do? So those guys are the ones, if you want to blame anybody, blame those guys. All right, let's go back. We're talking about the assistant coach of the year, Fangio, Flores, Vic Fangio from the Eagles, Brian Flores for the Vikings, Vance Joseph from the Broncos, Clint Kubiak from the Seahawks, and Josh McDaniels from the Patriots. It drives me nuts that Josh McDaniels on there. I get it. You have an MVP caliber quarterback. You're able to do it. But out of all those things, he does not seem like the other. Now, Clint Kubiak is going to be an interesting one, because after the Seahawks have done what they did with Sam Darnold, it feels like you got to be like, this guy's name is going to be on everybody's tongue for a head coach position sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it feels that way. And this is best assistant coach.
Yes.
I feel like you kind of have to give it to Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of the runaway favorite here, because what they were able to do with losing DK Metcalf, bringing on Sam Darnold, and bringing on Cooper Kupp, who everybody thought was washing over the hill and actually had a really good year as a number 2 guy next to Jackson Smith and Jigba. And they would have run the ball really well. They blocked really well. Like everything about that offense was so much better than I thought it was going to be. Like, if you remember at the beginning of the season, like we had the Seahawks as like a mid-tier NFL team, and I was just like, yeah, they'll be all right. And they're just like the best at everything.
No, I mean, the fact that the Rams told Cooper Kupp to retire, they're like, you should retire. You're done. And then we're like, no one should sign him. He should be retired. And he's going to the Super Bowl now. Big part of what that offense does. Sam Darnold coming in, they give him a really good contract for both of them. They feel good about it. He's going to make it. You know, he makes a way to back there. You know, we'll talk about the other side of the ball in a second, but it does feel like Clint Kubiak. He's been a name that's been around these guys for a while, like around being a great next coach, and this definitely puts him in there, because wasn't Clint Kubiak the OC for the Saints last year when they had those like amazing starts? And then people started to figure him out a little bit more, but like when they blew out the Cowboys and stuff, that was, I think, Kubiak early on. And then he went over to Seattle, where he has real talent, and it changed up. Coach of the year, all of these guys had great seasons. Liam Cohen at Jacksonville turned that program around and made Trevor Lawrence a really top-level player. Ben Johnson in Chicago makes Caleb Williams a top-level player. Mike McDonald in Seattle, we just talked about the other side of the ball. He has been taking up that Seattle defense and bringing back the personality and the characteristics of what people believe Seattle football is. Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco perennial name on this list, and a guy with all of the injuries and problems still putting himself squarely in the conversation to be a contender. And then Mike Vrabel comes to the Patriots after getting let go from the Tennessee Titans and takes them to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is probably the most competitive that I've seen this category in a long time, because each person in it, you can give a legitimate reason why they should be, at least considered to win. Liam Cohen did amazing things in Jacksonville, like unbelievable turnaround, turning Trevor Lawrence into a really good NFL quarterback somehow when nobody was able to do it before him. Winning that division and doing everything that they did. Kyle Shanahan, just the sheer adversity that he faced all year with all the injuries and everything they had to deal with, not having their quarterback and not having all these other players. Unbelievable job there. McDonald and Vrabel both, getting to a Super Bowl in year 2, getting to a Super Bowl in year 1. The sheer dominance that Seattle has had all season long has been incredible. And then Ben Johnson turning the Bears into a legit, scary, good football team when it's been, since Rex Grossman in 2002 or something like that, the last time they were relevant. So all of them did a hell of a job. I would probably go either Mike McDonald or Mike Vrabel, just because they're in the Super Bowl. And I know this is probably more of a regular season award than it is a...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the voting has already happened, so before they were in the Super Bowl.
But if you look at it just from a regular season standpoint, I almost think you have to give it to Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I think it's interesting is we saw what Liam Cohen did, but you believe there's a lot of talent there and top picks and everything else. What Ben Johnson did in Chicago is insane. But I'll tell you, I think Mike Vrabel's going to win it.
Yeah.
Because you take a team that was really, really bad and completely directionless for the last several years. Bill Belichick had that. Bill Belichick had a bad team there. Then they bring in Gerard Mayo and it's just terrible. And now you look at that team and you go, they're one of the best teams in the NFL and beating good teams throughout the season. So I think Vrabel's going to win it. I think Vrabel's also going to win it as an FU to the Titans for firing him. Because when you look at all of it too, at Coach of the Year, Mike McDonald was a up-and-comer, Ben Johnson up-and-comer, Liam Cohen up-and-comer, Kyle Shanahan's been there. Mike Vrabel was a stalwart coach at Tennessee who all of a sudden goes into a new program and takes him all the way and has a great season. I think that Vrabel's probably going to win it. I think Ben Johnson wins it. It's also not the wrong choice. And really, if Mike McDonald wins it, I don't think it's a bad choice. And I like Kyle Shanahan and Liam Cohen. I think they did great jobs, but I think there's 3 guys who could win this, and I wouldn't go, what a bad choice on any one of them. I think there's great reasons to vote for all 3 of them. But I would guess that Vrabel's going to win it.
Yeah, he's probably going to. I just it's so similar what they were able to do and what the Bears were able to do, rebuilding a team that has just been absolutely horrendous over the last, really few years. But I mean, Mike Vrabel, they had, what were they, 14-2 or 14-3 or 13-4 or something like that. They had a better record. They won a tougher division. Well, maybe not tougher division, but the doing all that in year 1 after, having the number 2 pick in the NFL draft or number 3 pick in the NFL draft or whatever it was when they drafted Will Campbell, that's insane.
Let's hit the comeback player of the year. Here's your nominees for that. Stephon Diggs with the Patriots, Aiden Hutchinson with the Lions coming back from that awful injury. Stephon Diggs had the torn knee with the Texans. Aiden Hutchinson, of course, ripped his leg all apart last year. Trevor Lawrence with Jacksonville, that wasn't really it was one of those things where they just kept playing him, even though he was hurt the whole season. They kept playing with him, kept playing for whatever reason. Christian McCaffrey with the 49ers, who, of course, had the weirdest thing that he went overseas to try and get it treated and everything else with his ankles and Achilles and everything else. And then Dak Prescott with the Dallas Cowboys up for comeback player of the year. This feels like it's a 2-horse race for me. With Aiden Hutchinson and Christian McCaffrey being guys who had really injuries where you weren't sure if they were going to be at the same point ever again, and then play top level football after that. Christian McCaffrey playing at this level at this age is nuts to me. So I get why those guys are there. I get Trevor Lawrence he had a great season. I didn't think he was gone. Thought he was just got a better coach. You muted yourself again.
There we go. Yeah, you're probably right. There was a certain point where I was like, okay, Christian McCaffrey's Achilles just has to give out at some point this season. He's playing too well. He always has injury issues. And then he just came out and had an amazing year. Aiden Hutchinson also, like, after suffering that injury, coming back doing what he did is really impressive to me. I don't want to give this award to Trevor Lawrence, but the turnaround that he had from last year to this year, after playing most of the season injured last year and getting beaten into the ground and all that stuff, to come turn around and lead your team to a division title, I don't know. I guess if I had to vote right now, I'd say Christian McCaffrey. But
yeah, and it's like I get the Trevor Lawrence part. I get it. To me, that would be an award to give him a thing that I don't think he's the comeback. Like, I get he was beat up last year, but like that the award for him should be, hey, isn't it shocking when you get a good coach award? Like, hey, maybe you should stop just running into a wall with bad coaches and then not realizing how much better play calling and good coaching can make a player. It's night and day. We should give that award. Trevor Lawrence deserves that award with Liam Cohen to be like, oh my God, once you got Doug Peterson out of there, who just was so reliant on him because he knew once he was gone, he couldn't win a game. So he just kept putting him out there over and over again when he shouldn't have been out there. CB, he can win it every other year. So he wins. Christian McCaffrey wins comeback player of the year and then comes back. And then, the Aiden Hutchinson one, for him to play at the level, I think that them missing the playoffs is probably going to hurt them, though. So I think, it may be Trevor Lawrence. I would put it on Christian McCaffrey or Aiden Hutchinson, but I get the year that Trevor Lawrence had is amazing. I don't know. There's always a part of it where I'm like, yeah, you just didn't reach expectations because the coaching for years, but that's not a comeback. You just like finally were good because he didn't come back good. He wasn't good until this year. So he's not coming back to me.
Yeah.
Steph Diggs and Christian McCaffrey and Aiden Hutchinson and Dak Prescott were all at one point top level, like player of the year candidates. Trevor Lawrence was a borderline bust until this year. And so that's why. And he'll probably win it because, awards don't mean what they mean. But Joe, we know. Vince Young and Jeff Fisher. That's why I hate it. They're trying to do that to my boy CJ Stroud in Houston now. Gonna put him out with the wrong coaches. Get him a real coach.
This is a really hot take, and one that I don't think any Texas fans are really going to like. I don't know that Vince Young was ever going to be a good NFL quarterback.
Vince Young would have been I don't think he would ever been great. I don't think he would have had the same level. I think if you gave him a coach who wanted to have him, he would have won 10, 11 games a year.
Yeah, if he had stayed on the straight and narrow and he didn't have the issues that he had and he got a good coach, then I think he probably would have been a good NFL quarterback. He was never going to, I don't think he was ever going to be Vince Young at Texas in the NFL. There's just too much talent around, too many good players around, and it's just a different game. But
he was ahead of his time too.
Yeah, if you took Vince Young from Texas and kept him like clean between the ears and put him, transported him to 2025 and put him on an NFL team, he'd be unbelievable. But it just wasn't.
I think if you put Vince Young on the Pittsburgh Steelers instead of Ben Roethlisberger, I think he wins more championships.
Maybe.
Because Mike Tomlin would have kept him on the straight and narrow. Like, he would have eventually gone insane, but he would have had him being really, really good. Sark just hired an analyst.
Ooh.
Oh, look that up. I'll name our next award.
CB, can you just drop the name in the chat so I don't have to find it on Twitter?
He may have just hit us up there on the Twitters. Oh, he sent us the statement. Appreciate that, CB. We'll do that.
Texas is hiring Georgia's Garrett Cox as a senior defensive analyst. Before Georgia, he worked at TCU, Michigan, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Okay. All right. Seems like another Will Muschamp guy coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Someone to bring in that is going to help out Texas a little bit more. Bring in the defense that Will Muschamp wants, and to bring in somebody that Will Muschamp trusts in that defense. So I'll be on board. Anybody else we can steal from a really good program like Georgia, I'm usually on board with.
Yeah, let me see what I can find out about Garrett Cox.
Looking over at the Defensive Rookie of the Year awards, is we'll get back to that in a minute. And Rodney, I think Lamar would have probably had still the better career. Now, if you put Vince Young in today's game, it changes things, because today's game they use guys differently. The coaches are way different. But I think that, if we just talk about career, what they could have been, Lamar Jackson's probably a better passer in the mid sense, maybe, than Vince was. So Vince would have had to really work hard, and I don't know that if Vince would have had the maturity and the work ethic to try and get that much better over time. I don't know if he would have or not. I think now he probably would do it, but with the maturity he has as an adult. But I don't know what if he was younger. I still think that Texas should have taken him and just let him be the team for a few years, and it would have been awesome. But that's just me.
Yeah, I think that would have been amazing if the Texans had drafted him. But I mean, obviously, picking Mario Williams was a good choice. He was unbelievable in Houston. It was almost too good to be true for Vince Young to end up with the Texans, I think. But I guess it is what it is. Okay, I found some stuff about Garrett Cox, just a little bit. He spent time at TCU, Michigan, Tennessee, and Alabama. When he was at Alabama, he worked with Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. And then Georgia hired him last year with Kirby Smart and Glenn Schumann. So I guess, he got to work with Will Muschamp as well. And, he's a linebacker specialist. So I guess he's going to come in there and help, probably help Johnny Nansen with the linebacker group, which I like a lot. So, yeah, I love it.
Love it. Yeah, CB, Bud Adams can suck it. I'm not a fan of Bud Adams at all. Move my team. Just a general, not great person from most reports that we have read about him and stories we've heard about him. Not the best guy. Him and Bum Phillips hated each other's guts. I don't know if Bum Phillips is necessarily the best historical piece of coaching you would ever see either, with some of those stories, especially the ones about Earl. But Bud Adams moved the team, so screw him.
Yeah.
All right, AP Defensive Rookie of the Year presented by EA Sports Madden NFL, Matt. That's a long title to put on. You're going to have to charge extra there at the trophy shop. Your five names are Abdul Carter, the Giants rookie, Nick Emenwuri, who had a great game for the Seahawks, James Pierce from the Atlanta Falcons, Carson Schweschinger from the Browns, and Xavier Watts from the Falcons.
My guess would be Carson Schweschinger, but I mean, Emenwuri was also really good. Yeah. I don't know. The rookie of the years on defense are always tough for me.
Yeah, it is.
Unless there's like a Micah Parsons who comes out and just absolutely trounces the league, then it's a really difficult one for me to put a finger on.
Yeah, I could see Pierce in Atlanta as well. He had a pretty good season. But yeah, this is a more difficult one. It doesn't feel like there's a standout. So I would probably I think him and Rory may do it because of the season they had and him running around on a really good defense. And anytime you see a rookie be a big part of a good defense, it kind of helps you out a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and go with him and Rory of who I would take in that one. The rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, is Jackson Dart for the Giants, Emeka Egbuka from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Travion Henderson from the New England Patriots, Tet McMillan from the Carolina Panthers, and Tyler Shuck from the New Orleans Saints. A little bit better, but I don't know if any of them stand out head and shoulders above everybody else. Because Egbuka probably could have been on a different team, maybe the guy, but because you're playing on a team with Godwin and Mike Evans, and then he had his own injury during the season, maybe that knocks him down a little bit on that list. Tyler Shuck had a pretty quietly good season at quarterback. Jackson Dart had decent moments, some not great moments, but didn't win games as well. And Ted McMillan, part of a Carolina Panthers team that got better and better. He's going to be really good as well. And of course, Travion Henderson, once they use him, he's going to be a beast.
Yeah, I feel like it's probably down to the two Ohio State guys. I can see Jackson Dart winning it just because he came in and did a lot of exciting things. But I feel like when there's not a clear standout, it's the player who had the most impact on the best team. And it kind of feels like that's Travion Henderson to me.
Yeah, I think it might be Travion Henderson as well. I mean, again, it depends.
Another running back that the Cowboys passed on.
Another running back that the Cowboys passed on. I could see Jackson Dart getting it just because of the splash he made and it being New York and people him being in the news over and over again. I could see them being like, look at how much more positive the thought process is of the Giants now after many years. But I think that's more of just, them being in New York. All right, let's hit the offensive player of the year. Your nominees for offensive player of the year are Drake May from the Pats, Christian McCaffrey from the 49ers, Puka Nacua from the Rams, Bijan Robinson from the Falcons, and Jackson Smith-Njigba from the Seattle Seahawks. It's a no-brainer. It's Bijan Robinson, right?
Probably. Yeah, it's either him or Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be weird if they try and give this one to Drake May. It could be Christian McCaffrey as well. I think, in all honesty, I'd love Bijan to win it, but if we just look at a guy kind of carrying an offense around him and Christian McCaffrey, there was a lot of this season where they have no real big wide receivers. They had George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey, where they're two star players. Brock Purdy gets hurt half the season, and they stay on track. So we could see Christian McCaffrey. Puka Nacua, again, has a great season. Could be in that. I think Bijan's the record is going to kill Bijan. Free Bijan, everybody. Free Bijan.
Well, I mean, if you look at it,
numbers-wise,
he's better. And it's not like he had a quarterback or any stars around him either.
No.
But free Bijan.
Free Bijan. Your defensive player of the year, you get Will Anderson from the Houston Texans, Nick Bonito from the Denver Broncos, Myles Garrett from the Cleveland Browns, Aiden Hutchinson from the Detroit Lions, and Micah Parsons from the Green Bay Packers.
Myles Garrett.
It's always Myles Garrett. And look, it should be Will Anderson. Should always be the Houston Texans player. I'm happy to have him, in there. I'm happy that Will Anderson is getting these accolades. And honestly, it's Myles Garrett's award until he either completely falls off or starts to go downhill or whatever else. But
And didn't he get the single season sack record?
Yes. Yeah. Like it's his award every year. He's the best. He's Myles Garrett. He's the only reason the Cleveland Browns are even remotely relevant.
And he's like one of the few Texas A&M players that's ever done anything in the NFL.
And now your most valuable player award presented by, any guesses of who's presenting the MVP award?
No idea.
Invisalign.
Oh.
Not
very overrated brand. I used it at one point and I hated it.
Okay. Yeah. I've not used it.
I hope they were never a sponsor of TSU, but
no, I'm sure we had Dr. Eckert at one point, or man, Dr. Eckert, great dentist. How about, so your award, your finalists, your 5 finalists. First of all, we know who the 2 real finalists are. There are 5 finalists: Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, Christian McCaffrey, Drake May, and Matthew Stafford. So we know this is a Drake May, Matthew Stafford award. I don't think there's much argument to put it on anyone other than Matt Stafford. I get that East Coast media maybe more on course to say, look at what Drake May did and took this team and turned it around. Matt Stafford's numbers were good all year. If you just watch him play, you just see. So Drake May have the best long ball right now. There's stuff he does that's really, really great. But Matt Stafford is he's a surgeon. He's so good and he's so fun to watch play. And like you've heard it for years of other quarterbacks talk about watching him play and how he plays. But just watching a guy play the quarterback position as well as it can be played at 37 years old, I don't know how you don't give it to Matt Stafford. Now, I thought, again, Bill Belichick was a first ballot Hall of Famer, but, so sometimes you don't know, but I would say this feels like it's got to be Matt Stafford.
He had 15 more touchdown passes than Drake May, first of all. So it's and he also led the NFL in passing yards, had almost 400 more yards passing than Drake May. Look, he's the elder statesman. He's been on the cusp of this award a couple times. He's getting to the end of his career. I think that probably helps him get it too, because Drake May is going to have a long career in front of him. And this is something that Puka Nacua said, that these aren't my words, they're Puka Nacua's words, but I think that they're probably correct. If God assembled a quarterback to play football, it is Matthew Stafford. Like the arm talent, the brains, the toughness, the leadership, all of the crazy things that he can do with arm angles and no look throws and all that stuff. Like he's been doing, like, there are other quarterbacks in the league who can do some of those things now. He's been doing that since he was, since the early 2000s. Like when he was at Georgia, he was doing stuff that people had never seen before. He's unbelievable. And the fact that he's doing everything that he's doing at 37 makes it even more insane. So yeah, I mean, it's him. It has to be him. If it's not, then they made a mistake. I'm not saying that Drake May had doesn't have a case, but when you just compare the resumes from this season, I don't think it's close.
No, I don't either. I think I think there's a reason to vote for Drake May, but I think it's Matt Stafford, and that's the way it should be. One of the craziest stats about Matt Stafford's career, he is a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
3. That's it. Like for his long storied career and all the, and I mean, this is a Super Bowl champion quarterback. He's been in LA now for a few years. You would have expected more than 3. He is only 2 ahead of Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, that's just another reason that the Pro Bowl doesn't mean anything.
I know, it's ridiculous. That is always one of those crazy stats. Yeah, I'm with you. It feels like it's Matt Stafford's year to win that MVP. He doesn't get to have the MVP Super Bowl season, but he can still win the MVP, have a pretty good one, and then say, I'm coming back trying to get back-to-back MVPs. But I'm also with you. I think a lot of times the gatekeeping of these places will have it so they don't want to give an MVP award to Drake May and then have him be a bust in 3 years. I don't think he will be.
Mm-hmm.
But you sometimes are like, do it for 2 or 3 years. Like, do it a couple times, and then we'll be more likely to give it to you because now we get it. And Matt Stafford has now done it several times. They know who he is as a person and as a player. So I could see that Matt Stafford gets that. All right. Let's take our second break real quick. Thank those sponsors. Yeah, were you saying something?
Well, I was just going to say the other thing about Matt Stafford, and it's not like a 1-year deal.
Yes.
But the sheer longevity of his career.
Yes.
And the fact that he played in every single game for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, for 9 out of 10 seasons is insane, especially considering it was with Detroit, who was horrible at assembling rosters.
No, he's a beast. He's going down. I mean, now granted, he's probably not a first ballot Hall of Famer, but
he is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Not anymore. Not anymore. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and wrap up the show here on a Wednesday afternoon here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The Lager, the Kolsch, those are their 2 flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got a great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
Welcome back in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered here on a Wednesday afternoon. CB, I agree with you. I think Stafford is in the Hall of Fame, but they changed their voting. I believe now it's basically you get 50 voters. They get 3 votes of who can get in, and you have to get 40 votes. So the Bill Belichick thought was that some other people, one of the thoughts is other people thought, well, they're just going to vote him in so I can use my vote for somebody that else I like. And then they did that, and too many people did it, and he did not get the 40 votes. My man CB did send us, though, this statement from the NFL Hall of Fame. Says the Pro Football Hall of Fame understands and respects the passionate reaction of many fans, media members, and enshrinees of the Hall itself in light of published reports regarding the voting results of the class of 2026. It's that very passion that propels the game. The Hall also respects the members of the selection committee when they follow the selection process bylaws. It's an honor to serve as a selector. Each year, the Hall reviews the selection process and the composition of the 50-person selection committee. If it is determined that any member/members violated the selection process bylaws, they understand action will be taken. This could include the possibility that such selector would not remain a member of the committee moving forward. The selection of a new class is the most important duty of the Hall of Fame oversees each year, and the integrity of that process cannot be in question. So they didn't really say anything other than, yeah, we know. We'll make sure no one screwed it up, and then but nothing's going to change.
Yeah, that I was hoping for a little bit more out of that statement, honestly. Like maybe naming Bill Belichick by name, just for the controversy's sake. But
we know. No, they're not public. Some people are trying to put them out more and all that other stuff, but they're not public because, again, they don't want the backlash on people. But it at this point, if you're a voter, no one's going to believe you that you voted for him in. Everyone's, because you'll probably get 50 people that say they voted for Bill Belichick at this point. And maybe one who's like, no, man, I'm going to be different. I'm not voting for him for some reason. So, Matt, real quick, meathead of the day, saw this video, old video, surfacing again. DeMarcus Lawrence doing an interview with Seattle right when he goes to Seattle. Now DeMarcus Lawrence playing for a Super Bowl, talking about his love for Dallas.
It is my home. I made my home there. My family lives there. I'm forever going to be there, but, I know for sure I'm not going to win a Super Bowl there. So, yeah. We here.
We're here. DeMarcus Lawrence, welcome to the Seahawks. Thanks for joining us.
He's right.
That one aged well. That could have aged really poorly, and it aged really well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was right, at least in the first part of that, like in the sense of he's never going to win a Super Bowl in Dallas, because like I honestly don't think they're ever going to win a Super Bowl as long as I'm alive.
Eventually they're going to, Stephen Jones is going to sell the team and they'll be fine after that. But
I don't know, man. I feel like he's going to take it over and go until he's 90, 95. And then he's going to hand it over to whichever one of the kids wants to take it over after that. Probably the kid that played quarterback at Highland Park.
He's 61. So really you've got another 40 years. If you can live to be,
Dude, do you think I'm going to make it to 79?
I think we make it to 100. Yeah. Aaron Hogan's never, Aaron will be dead before they win a Super Bowl, but Matt could be like 95 and get one.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Too much bourbon?
No, it's just like, I mean, I'm gonna make it to my 80s or 90s for sure. I think.
Yeah.
I'll probably have to stop eating so much Chipotle if I'm gonna do that. But no, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think I'm gonna die without seeing the Cowboys win another Super Bowl.
Do you think you will die with not seeing the Cowboys in another Super Bowl?
Yeah.
No conference championship games?
No.
The odds are so stacked against that being true.
I know, but that's how I feel. That's how damaged I am, Patrick.
So if you had a kid,
miss a national championship in football before I see the Cowboys make it to another NFC championship game.
If you had a kid, would you make them a Cowboys fan or would you steer them away from it?
Absolutely effing not. No, I like, first of all, depending on where I'm living at the time, like if I'm in Houston or if I'm in Austin or if I'm, somewhere else, I'm just going to let them pick their NFL team because I don't really care that much about watching the NFL every week. Now, when they come out of the womb, the first piece of clothing I'm going to put on them is an Ole Miss jersey.
Okay.
They're not going to have a choice about that because not only am I a massive, huge Ole Miss fan, and is it part of my family as well, but my girlfriend her whole family is Ole Miss too, so he doesn't have a choice in that matter, or he or she.
Yes. No, I will say that the only thing you have to do is they can pick a team, but you got to be like, by the time you're like 12, this is it. That's the team. Yeah. And you have to ride with them forever. You have to feel the misery. The whole point of it is the pain, all the pain makes the winning better. But if you only win, then you're just a jerk and no one wants to be your friend.
I won't let them be an Eagles fan. I know that. But what I will say is, like, it's going to be very easy for my child, whoever, whether it ends up being a boy or a girl, to pick Ole Miss for the same reason that it was so easy for me to pick Texas when I was younger. Because growing up, my dad took me to every game he took that he possibly could, football and basketball. He took me to every possible, like even practices for bowl games at like SMU. He was taking me to that stuff. We were going to banquets and all these different things, and like sitting there watching those games with him, and like having that fun with him watching those games at DKR and stuff. I mean, like, that's why I think that this job that I have right now is so cool, because it's so nostalgic for me to walk into DKR every day. Like for it's my job now. And I grew up like it being the most fun thing ever for me as a kid. So,
all right, we got to get out of here and make way for the basketball team starting up right about now against Auburn. We'll take off. We'll be back tomorrow. 2 days left in the show after this. So we hope you join us, and we'll do it again. But be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for more